This is the Vision 79 podcast, where my friend Sander and myself, Mason, discuss recent developments in our business and personal growth. The name Vision 79 comes from our respective racing numbers. Sander's is 40, mine is 39, and we have similar ambition to progress in business and personal growth. Many successful people have started small, just like us, but very few of them have documented their early years. They often say they wish they had, and given we believe in learning lessons from others, we intend to be the first to document our journey from start to finish. This is simply a documentary of our lives, and as such, we do not monetize these videos, so enjoy the ad-free content. Each episode is broken down into 3 segments, each covering our progress over the past week. We start by discussing our life updates, then our business updates, and lastly, we share any lessons we've learned over the past week. We have timestamps in the description to navigate these sections easily. Today is June 28th, 2026, and we're recording episode 113. So, what are your life updates this week?
So life updates, slightly more full, but like
Having a kid?
No, I'm not.
Or,
Not
that
Sammy's
full.
out of town. So I'm having a kid. It's not mine.
I hope
I'm
you're having a
just
kid.
kidding, Sammy. It was actually really fun. I don't know if I told you this last week,
Tell me anyways.
but we were driving over to Orlando, and we were talking about St. Augustine, and I thought I had gone with Sammy to
Did you
St.
not go with
Augustine. I
Sammy?
did not go
I
with
remember
Sammy.
you not going with Sammy.
Oh, you remember? Do you remember me telling you the story? Or you
No, I
me-
remember when you went to St. Augustine.
Oh yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure,
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't go with Sammy.
You went with someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and because we were gonna go to Orlando to a cat cafe, and we ended up bailing on that because it was raining really hard,
Oh, that sucks.
and I didn't want to drive in the rain in the Miata because I'd aquaplaned already once that day and once the previous day.
You're going to
So I
love
was
my
like, I'm
lesson learned this
testing
week.
my luck.
Yeah, the
So-
Camaro. Yeah, I tell people, if I had to rate the likelihood that I die every day, there's a positive correlation between days it rains and days I'm like way more likely to die in the Camaro.
So yeah,
anyway.
it was. We were gonna go to this cat cafe. We ended up not going. And I told her, I was like, I thought we've already been to a cat cafe. There's one in St. Augustine. And she was like, we haven't been to St. Augustine together. I went with my friends, you didn't go. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, and I doubled down on it. And I was like, no, like, we've been. Like, you've been to St. Augustine. She was like, no. And I was like, really? And she was like, who'd you go with? And I was like, and she was like, who'd you go with? And I was like, oh, shit, like, I don't remember.
I don't think I've ever
I
been,
don't know.
actually.
I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up. And she was like, no, you went with some other girl. You went with one of your other girlfriends from the past. And I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, actually, I do know, because then I doubled down. I was like, actually, I do know. I went a couple months back. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I went a couple months ago while you were out of town. I went with one of your friends. It was good. It was a good
That's
joke.
funny.
And it was funny because she was like, no, you wouldn't do that. And I was like, why? And she was like, you're too busy fucking working. And I was like, that's right.
Sometimes Grace and I'll do the same thing, and she'll be like, "You went with one of your girlfriends," and I'll go, "Nah, it wasn't that trip. It was a different one."
But anyways, onto life update stuff. I had a little test set up, so rebuilt that up. That got torn down last week, so at work. I rebuilt that up and completed the testing that I needed to. Have a review meeting with the responsible engineers for that subsystem this coming week.
Cool.
And then I've been working a lot on next generation test development for our third stage of the next generation rocket. So I've been working a lot on developing our testing for that. And I was informed at the latter point of this week that, well, so for perspective, I've scheduled all the meetings. I've formed all the tracking plans of what needs to be done and what's been done, and then keeping that tracked between the other 2 team members that I have, posting questions and working towards solutions on different problems we run into, right? Like keeping up with this, right? And then at the end of this week, I was informed that how my manager kind of works is he'll like assign someone as the lead, but in this case, he assigned it to the person one-on-one because he wanted them to bring themselves out as a leader.
Okay.
Instead of like everyone knowing that they're the leader and then kind of like cozying them into it, right?
Right.
So in this particular case, he kind of told them one-on-one. And then I found out this week that they were supposed to be the leader. I didn't know.
And they weren't
Right.
acting like it?
No.
Yeah.
So like they did a small subsection where they wrote up some small stuff in this one section, and then they commented back on my comments. But for perspective, the section they wrote up is about 1.5 pages. I think the total document is somewhere around 20 to 25 pages.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, which
Okay.
I wrote and
Right.
edited and then put the
Commented.
tracker for, and
Yeah.
then scheduled all the meetings. So
Right.
there's a discrepancy here, to say the least. And so I was like, oh,
How did you find out that the other person had been told to be the lead?
because I showed my work to my manager.
And your manager was
And
like,
then he was like, "Hey, what's blah 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 doing?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, well, he like wrote up this small section here,
Yeah.
and then he commented back on my comments."
he's a good kid. Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, he's supposed to be the leader on this." And he was like, "But it seems like you're the leader on it." And I was like, "Well, I won't say yes or no, but I've done a good amount of work this week on this."
Yeah. You can go see
Yeah.
see who edited in the
It's
document.
pretty self-explanatory.
Right. Right. Does being a leader come with more pay?
Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, I thought that
Cool.
that was kind of funny, and
Mhm.
it's odd because like I'm actually trying to one of my tasks one-on-one was to push him to come out of his box a little bit more and ask more questions. So
Okay.
I've been doing that
Right.
while I've been like inadvertently trying to leading because I
Right.
didn't know,
Right.
right? Which I'm going to continue to do. But anyways,
Yeah.
so he's actually a really smart kid, and he has really good ideas.
Mhm.
But then when he goes to execute, he's like it's not even confrontation. He's
Mhm.
like afraid of conversation. He
Mm.
doesn't even want to
Mhm.
converse about it. It's not like
Yeah.
he's not even at the confrontation level
Got it.
where it's like I don't really care.
Right.
And like I don't want to have like a full on argument in a group teams meeting, but like if something stands out that's wrong, like I want to say something because
Sure.
this is my problem to solve.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I like my work and the performance that I do is rested upon the fact that the responsible engineers for the subsystem that we ask questions to give
Yeah.
us good answers. And if they don't give us good answers, then I do a bad job and that looks poorly on me.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no, I want answers.
Right. You got to
Um,
speak up.
and so I pushed him a little bit because he had some good questions. I was like, oh, put this. And I put in writing after our Teams chat or our Teams call and put in writing in the group chat. I was like, hey, like, please send out a message about your question. I think it's a really good one.
Mhm.
And then I told him, put it in the group chat with the responsible engineers,
Mhm.
with the other guy and myself, so that we can both follow along with the answer because I want to learn about the system as well.
Right.
And I want to see the answer to this question. We're all on the same team.
Right.
He sends an email to myself, the other guy,
Mhm.
and my manager,
Not
who
the
isn't
RE.
involved at all,
Right.
and none of the REs. There are 3 REs
Right.
for the different subcomponents of the
You have a
subsystem.
wide selection to choose from.
Wide selection. None of them are on the email chain.
Mhm.
And it's like, hey, blah, 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 wanted to ask about X, Y, and Z. And so I look at this email, and then I look at who's CC'd, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so I messaged him back, and I was like, is there a reason? Like, I said, did you forget to include the REs? I'm
Right.
like, whatever.
Harem's raising.
Did you?
Right.
Yeah. Did you forget to include the REs?
Hemlock.
And he's like, no, I have a plan. And I said, is the plan for this to spread by word of mouth? And he said, quote, let me cook. And I said, okay.
Okay.
Not 15 minutes later after I said that, he puts a distilled version of the question in
Mhm.
our actual group chat with the REs,
Okay.
where he stipulates the question with an answer that essentially gets them out of answering the question. So let's say you asked me about
Sure.
like, hey, how do I change my tires on my car?
Mhm.
And let's say you didn't know. Like you asked me the question, how do I change my tires on the car? And then let's say you assume I don't know,
Mhm.
right? You would ask the question, be like, hey, I'm wondering how to change the tires on my car. It could be something as simple as, you jack the car up, take the wheel off, and then bring it to a local shop, and then they'll do it for me, and then I can put the wheel back on with the bolts.
Sure.
Right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? You would have that in your question.
Right.
Then I would go back and I would say, yeah, that sounds about right, and maybe add a couple sentences of detail.
Sure.
That's pretty much what he did with the REs. He gave them a leg out,
Right.
and then they gave a basic question. So
Right.
I let this simmer for 15 minutes. I was like, I'll watch this show, right? And then I let it simmer for 15 minutes. And then I went in the chat and I said, I appreciate your response, but I don't
Private
think there's
chat. This is the private chat.
but no, between all the REs.
Oh, okay.
All
Everybody.
the REs, him, everyone.
Okay.
It's like 11 people.
Got it.
And because he put it in the chat, and I was like, "Thank you for doing that. I'd like an answer," but the answer was shit because he stipulated it with a gateway out.
He gave a partial answer in the question,
Right.
which means you can just say, "Yep, sounds right to me," and then
Exactly.
then the
And so I nailed him
miscommunication
down.
happens.
I was like, "Hey, appreciate your response. I don't think that the gravity of the situation is really notated here, and I don't think it's been clear.
Yeah.
We have this paperwork due in 2 weeks.
Right.
We don't have clear answers to X, Y, and Z. This is our documentation so far. We need to present this. If
Right.
I don't have clear answers going into this presentation,
Mhm.
then I look bad, and this isn't going to pass our presentation, and we're going to have to go back to the drawing board. So I need X, Y, and Z. Here's the documentation. These are our due dates."
Right.
And then the RE responds, and he says, "Oh man, I had no clue that this was so pressing.
Yep.
I'll get on this. I can have you a detailed answer by Friday to as much as I can." Because I asked, also in the question I asked, if there are unanswered items that you cannot answer that are still required for this presentation, at minimum, I need where you're currently at, what tasks are associated with the completion of this, and an estimated
ECD.
completion dates
Yep.
for all these individual tasks.
Mhm.
And he said, "No worries. I totally get it. I'll have it to you by the end of the week next week."
Mhm.
Blah, 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 blah. Wrote me up a bunch of stuff, sent me documentation that I had never seen that he had for all of these different subsystems. I'm like, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is how you ask fucking questions.
Well,
It's like,
you
it's
didn't
like
let
you
him
don't,
cook all the way.
what?
You didn't let him cook all the way. He has a plan. If that guy responded with a bullshit answer, then he would have waited until the presentation happened, and it would go poorly. But that's to set a low baseline so that next time you can impress. And then the next time you would have asked, and they would have been better questions, and he would have improved.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
I set that as a bar Friday at like 6:30 or 7 p.m. I was at work
Yeah.
because they're all on the West Coast. So I was
Got it.
there later communicating with them.
The REs?
Yeah.
Got it.
And so, like, all the other team members will roll in Monday morning, and there will be a very clear discrepancy between when the question was initially asked and the responses that were given,
Yeah.
and when I stepped in and actually asked the question for real, which wasn't even my fucking question.
Right.
I just rephrased it and like put a little emphasis on it,
Right.
and then the response that I got in correlation to that, like,
Can I clarify?
very different zip codes.
So this guy sent the initial email to you and a couple coworkers and your manager, not the REs.
No one that could answer the question was on that email.
Right.
Yeah.
Then he sent it to a larger group with the REs. Is your
Right.
manager still in that thread?
He's not in that thread.
You should
I don't
forward that
think
thread
so.
to him.
He might be.
You should forward that thread.
I-
Just, dude, you know what I love doing?
I would just like him to step up and ask real questions because he's smart. Just ask real questions.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not like no one's gonna eat you, and you aren't gonna get fired for asking a good question about a system that you're responsible for testing.
Right, exactly.
Pretty dur. It's
Yeah.
like well, whatever. But
Sometimes I'll forward emails to my boss and I'll just put FYSA, completely irrelevant to any of the work that we're doing. It's just like, look at this dipshit, or like, this was a really well done thing. Like, look at how
Yeah.
well this person's doing. But like, yeah, that's the relationship I have with my boss, though.
yeah, but anyways, that was funny.
Yeah, good
And-
work.
Yeah,
work for leading.
trying to do it right because it's like due in like 2 weeks, and I'm like, we don't have answers to like critical components. I'm like,
Mhm.
what is going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on?
Right,
And so then I'm starting to step in, and I'm like, okay, like we need answers.
right.
But anyways, hopping off the Blue Origin train, pre-charge pump did fix the ABS slight issue on the BMW. So
Cool.
that's all cleaned out. The misfire has completely gone away on cylinder
own?
2, which is what?
On its own?
Yeah, which has been my experience with it.
Right.
Because they let the car sit for about a month when they were doing the ABS module.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same experience I have. When the car sits for a little while and you start back up, it runs great for 3 months.
That's so funny because that's
It's
the opposite
so
of how you would
random.
expect it to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I texted him like, yeah, like I've had the same weird experience where it's super, super in and out. And it seems to heal itself and I don't really have any explanation for it.
Yeah.
So that's where it's currently at. Unsure about the pickup date. I know that Alex is digging into the seat a little bit to try and figure out what's going on with that. He really tore into it on Friday and he was like, yeah, I think that your light issue and all of your seat adjustment is unfixable in the current seat. You need a new seat to get that stuff to go away. So
sucks.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'll probably just run it as it is,
Mhm.
and let it be. I was thinking about selling the car. I'm honestly thinking about waiting now because the
Mhm.
market has tanked even more since the last time I looked.
You think it'll
Like
get better?
cars in equivalent condition of mine are like 2,000 to 2,500,
You think
like
it'll get better?
half of what I paid for it.
Right.
I don't know if it will get better, but my point is that is it worth 2 grand to not have a car with at least 4 doors and space in it because I can't get a good truck for 2 grand,
That's true.
right? So it's like essentially, would I give up this vehicle and spend an extra 4 grand
Mhm.
to have a truck right now, or would I just keep this car a little bit longer
Right.
and get some more life out of it? Because the
Mhm.
discrepancy between me running it until the motor goes out and selling it for $1,000 versus right now after I spent all this money on working on it
Mhm.
and selling it for 2,000 to 2,500,
Mhm.
like it's worth the $1,000 to get another 6 months to a year out of the car,
Right.
right? And so that's kind of because the market's just completely tanked, and I don't know
Right.
where it's going to go, but it's like fundamentally not worth selling the car at this point.
Yeah, my only other thought would be to sell it for the 2 grand and then buy another 4-door or wagon or something like that for
Well,
around
can't
two
even
grand
find
too.
like
But they're all gonna be shit options at
like
two
all the
grand.
wagons are also a premium, just like trucks.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like it's kind of a lose lose. So I'm not
Mhm.
really sure what to do. I'm taking
Mhm.
the approach of the French, which I saw on a Grand Tour episode
They're
this
just
week.
gonna give
Which
up?
no, which is run it until the joke is that the French don't sell cars; they just run them until they completely break and they're unfixable, and then they throw them away, and then they buy a new one. So that's like
It's
kind
funny.
of
They
like
never
what
do
my
an oil
approach
change
is.
either. Their
Yeah,
cars just
just run
die
it
at
into the
30,000
ground.
miles.
Yeah, so I'm taking a French approach right
Okay,
now.
cool.
Um, but I got new tires for the Miata. They came in this week, so I'm getting them mounted and balanced
Cool.
this coming week at Gatto's on Bush Drive.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, bye.
yeah, Bobby. But the Miata I was actually wondering when it was going to go out because it's so old. But the Miata alternator finally went.
Mm.
It's original alternator on that car, 205,000 miles.
Jesus Christ. That's a
Yeah,
good alternator.
yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
So I've been wondering for like 6 months. I'm like, this alternator, like, the regulator in this thing cannot last forever.
Right.
Like, I run a lot of auxiliary power. I run AC all the time. I
Radar.
run radio. I have stuff hooked up in like the radar.
Right.
I drive at night a lot. I have lights on. Like, oh, the alternator is heavily loaded frequently.
Right.
And so I was like, this thing's not gonna last forever.
Right.
And so it finally went. It actually didn't completely go.
Hmm.
It went so that it would hold the battery at 12 volts. It
Right
just
on the
wouldn't hold
money.
it at like 14.2 where it's supposed to hold it when the car's running. And
Right.
so I got a charge light for it. Like I got a
Right.
battery light, but the car drove fine. But I was worried about it going out. So I ended up parking the car for a couple days while I got an alternator and I rode the bike to and from work.
Gotcha.
So, and I got caught in the rain. It was horrible.
Now you could sell the Beamer and get a bike.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a really practical choice. But
Yeah. I understand horrible driving conditions. I get that.
the rain sucked on
Yeah.
the bike.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And I got stuck at the fucking drawbridge in Merritt Island, sitting in the rain for
Barged it
15
out.
minutes.
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
it was horrible.
On your way to
Um,
work too.
No, on the way back actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that's
like a
good.
little better, but
On your way to work sucks because then you get to work and you're fucking drenched and like now you're just
oh
wet all
yeah,
day. Yeah.
no. So yeah, I got stuck in the rain, which sucked. But the bike is really fun. I really enjoy the bike,
Mhm.
which is a problem because I like used to hate it because I didn't ride it and I thought it was dangerous, and now like I get it. Like it's very fun.
Dude, Grace
The
hung out.
amount of power you have instantaneously available in any gear is so awesome.
I will say, you don't own a V8 car. You should own a V8 car.
It's so quick.
You should get a car with a V8.
I should.
It's not the same, but it's a lot safer. It's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
safer.
But like, yeah, for sure. But the like the weight, the lack of weight and the amount of power you have available
Mhm.
is like the bike's 120 horsepower. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fucking power in
It
it.
weighs 500 pounds. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a lot. And I mean, it's like, like you could be in fourth gear at 40 miles an hour and you hit it and you're gone.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's at like 6,000 RPM. The bike redlines at like 16.
Mhm.
It's like you're not even close to in the power band.
Mhm.
It's super fun, super fun. But I rode that for a couple days, and I got the Miata going, and I was like, this car's never felt slower than it feels right now. But I did that, and then Sammy went. She was gonna go to Ecuador with her brother, but her brother's passport expires in like 5 months, and so they wouldn't let him board.
You know what's funny? We have friends at the bar who just went through this same thing, also planning to go to Ecuador. They wound up going
Oh,
to Costa Rica or Colombia. I can't remember.
she went to Costa Rica.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah, different countries have different expiry periods for your
yeah,
passport. So like you can go like as long as your passport doesn't expire in the next 2 months, you can go to Costa Rica. But if it's 6 months, it's Ecuador. If it's a year, it's Russia or whatever, right?
yeah,
But it's funny, they went through the same thing recently. Yeah.
yeah. So she went to Costa Rica with her brother. She's there now. Saw a bunch of cool wildlife. She did. She like traversed off of like a mountainside with a waterfall, like
Oh, that's
traversed
cool.
down. It was really, really cool. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
So she's been doing a bunch of cool stuff. She'll be back, I think, in like a week and a half or something.
Cool.
And then we go to see bears in
That's right.
Tennessee.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go to see
So
bears.
um
When do you do that?
2 weeks ish.
2 weeks from now?
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah. I
Gotcha.
think I'll be
Cool.
in Tennessee 2 weeks from now. So
Cool.
we have to reschedule podcast.
That's fine. Well, I was thinking
Um,
about your cats because Grace and I go northeast
oh yeah.
in August, but
Yeah,
that's
no, it's
August.
sooner than that.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, so that's about my life update
Cool.
there. What do you have for life this week?
I have less. Yours was a good one this week.
Yeah,
I lived a lot of life. I'm less sick for the first
good.
time
There
in
you go.
3 fucking months. So I can start going back to the gym this week, I think. I'm at the point now where I'm sleeping a lot better. I have decent amount of energy. I still have like a cough that I can't kick, and I still have to blow my nose every like hour and a half. But it's all clear mucus. Like I don't know why I'm making
Mm,
so much mucus if it's all clear. It's not
mm,
carrying any detritus. So like, I don't know. But I'm getting better, so that's good. Grace is
good.
also getting better. She got a sinus infection and had to get antibiotics for it.
Oh,
But all of her regular colds always turn into a sinus infection, and mine stays a regular cold.
got
Or
it.
I get a fucking like death-defying fever and like have to go to the hospital. Um, it was Grace's dad's birthday this week, so we went out and celebrated with him. It was my mom's birthday last week, so they have close birthdays. So that was nice. Um, I hit a new high score on my credit report, 793.
Wow.
So I'm almost at 800,
Nice.
which is cool. But that's really mostly it. At Northrop Grumman. I'm trying to strategically get myself promoted.
Mm,
And I'm like, there's a lot of different strategies that you can take, and I don't know what the best one is. One of my friends who is a hiring manager and he's going for a director role next year when he gets his doctorate, suggested that I go get a competing offer from another company and then force Northrop to compete. But Ryan's buddy, who is a level 3 engineer and wanted to be promoted to level 4, got a competing offer 2 weeks ago and Northrop didn't compete. And so he just went to that other company. And I would prefer to stay at Northrop.
mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to go through the effort, I'll kind of want the promotion, you know? Um, so that's kind of tricky. They are supposedly doing equity ratio adjustments in the next month. And so I may or may not get a pay raise in the next month, but it'll be like 2 or 3%. Like it won't
Mm,
be a big deal. And then they're supposedly doing promotions in the fall. And so I could wait until the fall, see if I get a promotion. And then if I don't, go get a competing offer. Or I could just cut to the chase and get a competing offer. But I think that I have to use the work that I'm doing as leverage to actually get the promotion.
mm,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Like I can't just be promoted because I have an offer from someone else. Like I have to be actually working at that level. I do think that I'm working at that level, but given that I was just promoted in April, I should be a level 3 engineer. By definition, I should be. But there's always the argument of, well, you just got a promotion in April, right? And it's like, yeah, well, I should have been directly promoted to a level 3 because that's what I'm
Yeah.
working at. But what I'm going to leverage here is that I was not a cost account manager when I was level 2, and now I'm a manager. So like that's a step that I've taken as a level 2 engineer to be pushed into level 3. And it is like highly frowned upon to have level 1 and 2 engineers as cams. So that's kind of fitting, right? But last week, there was a problem that my boss was being hounded about, and I helped him solve the problem. And then I told him, "Hey, listen, I know that there are promotions this fall, and my intent is to get good enough at this cam shit so that I solve problems you don't even know exist." And he was like, "That is my dream, Mason." And I said, "My dreams are your goals." I said, "Your goals are my dreams." No, fuck. your dreams are my goals. That's what I said.
Yeah.
And he laughed. But this week, there was a problem that I solved almost completely. Like, there was an issue. My boss was being hounded about it at work. He rage quit and went home early. And then I worked out a solution that night, and the next morning I came in early and I worked out a solution. And then I needed my boss to sign off on it before submitting it, just for my comfort.
Mm.
And I came in and he was like, "This is good. Send it. Go for it." And I was like, "Awesome. I wanted your signature because this is my first time doing it. But going forward, you don't have to do this anymore. I'll just do it." And he was like, "Awesome. I love to see it." So I had a plan last week. I am executing the plan this week. I just need to continue to execute the plan. And then I don't know if I'm going to try to get a competing offer before promotions or not. I don't know if I want to wait until the fall. I don't know what the timeline looks like.
Mm.
I might talk to my functional manager and say, "Hey, listen, like here's the work that I do. Here's the requirements that I'm satisfying. Do you think I'll get a promotion in the fall, or should I go get another offer?" Because like I really do think that my functional manager has my best intent in mind. And so if he tells me like we have to fight HR and it's going to make it a lot easier to fight if you have another offer, I'll go get another offer. And if he's like, "You should have it in the bag," then I'll just run with it. So that's my Northrop update. Most of my life updates are actually in my lessons learned section, so I'm going to put a pin in all those updates.
Nice.
What is your business update this week?
So for business this week, shelf space has been going relatively well. Currently, I'm cleaning up stuff again. So this week, the electrical got buttoned up, and the bathroom got complete. So
Cool.
I'm pretty much only waiting on an AC guy. So that's kind of up in the air, but I'm not willing to wait to start working in there anymore.
Mhm.
And so I'm at the point now where I'm cleaning up, and whenever the AC guy comes, I'll just do a good job of covering what's back there
Mhm.
and running a vacuum while he has to drill through the cinder block. So
Cool.
that's kind of going to be the plan, and then I'll clean as needed based on that work. But I'm not willing to wait anymore, generally speaking, for the AC guy come or to more work to be complete, because I want to get working in there.
Cool.
It's been like coming up on 2 months
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
me getting that space set up. I mean, there's been a lot that's happened in that space.
Oh,
in
for
2
sure.
months.
Yeah.
But it still is 2 months of time. So
Mhm.
bathroom is complete, electrical is complete. The air compressor back there, I don't know if you remember that big 55-gallon tank there. Mike had done a lot of work on that tank previously to clean it out as well as try to seal it.
Mhm.
And he could never get the tank to seal. It had a leak out of the big plug in the back, had a leak out of the air compressor connection to the actual compressor unit.
Okay.
It had all of the airline hookups and fittings had leaks for
Mhm.
the actual hoses, which were like several compiled fittings together. And then there were several leaks in the actual drain line system as well on the bottom of the tank. So it had a lot of leaks. And it was losing PSI pretty quickly. Like you could hear it actually hiss.
That sucks.
And so what I did this week was I took all those fittings apart, cleaned up all the surfaces, bought new Teflon tape.
Mhm.
I actually used Blue Origin spec to
Oh, that's
tighten
cool.
them. So that spec is hand tight, and then 3 to 4 turns for small fittings after hand tight for an
Interesting.
NPT thread with Teflon because it's a tapered thread.
Right.
And then for large fittings, it's 2 to 3 turns past hand tight.
Huh.
Which like it once you get in there and you start wrenching, like it's a lot. Like
Right.
you're putting a lot of force on it.
Right.
But put new Teflon tape on it and sent it through, no leaks. So
Good. Hopefully it stays that way.
yeah, like I bubble soaked the whole thing, no leaks at all.
Cool.
So it looks good as of now. At least it's definitely good enough.
Right.
For now, but yeah, fix that up. So now that I have air, which is a huge plus, got the 6-axis mill operational.
Cool.
So actually was able to turn that on, moved all the tracks, lubricated everything.
Mhm.
I still want to clean up some of the surfaces on the actual mill itself, but everything works. Got the motor working, got the digital display working,
Cool.
all that stuff. So that tool is working now. The metal table got welded this week with the plates on the bottom to put casters, as
Cool.
well as plates on the actual feet with tapped holes for the feet.
Okay.
So that got welded up this week. And as you remember that table is rough.
Yeah.
Like rough. The edges were really, really rough.
Right.
So Mike had a really big, it was like it's like a flat sander or whatever. It's like you hold it like it's got like a handle here and one here, and you hold it like that, and it's got a big like 6-inch disc.
Okay.
On
It's
the
a big
front.
orbital sander.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
massive orbital sander, like really high torque.
Mhm.
He had one of those, and he bought a big pack of 24 grit sandpaper
Holy shit.
and a grinding wheel and
Uh-huh.
a brush. And I went at that table. I think I probably went out that table for 2 to 2.5 hours straight grinding that thing.
Jesus Christ.
It was a
dude.
lot of fucking work.
Just the top surface? The
No.
sides?
So I wasn't able to strip the paint. The paint was really, really strong,
Mm.
but there was rust on the table. So I went at that rust and ground as much as I could out of it.
Mhm.
And then the jagged edges, I went
Yeah.
through all those edges and smoothed
That's
those out as
crazy.
much as I could.
Have you tried aircraft paint remover on the paint?
I haven't tried any paint remover. I'm
Got
not
it.
worried. Like, it's so tough. I'm not worried about it.
Cool.
Like, if
Sounds
I
good.
can't grind it off with a grinding wheel, like, it's not going to
Probably
come
not.
off when I'm working it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about that sake.
Yeah.
But I spent a ton of time grinding that table.
Do you know why this?
No, I mean, not a ton of time, but it was a lot of freaking work. Like, my thumb is all torn up from
That
like
is
just
fucked up.
holding the grinder from
Yeah.
like shaking it.
Mhm.
But dude, I mean, I was at that table. I burned all the arm hair off my arms completely from the sparks.
Jesus Christ.
I have spotted burns. Like if I roll up the sleeve in
Mhm.
here and stuff, I have like spotted burns everywhere from
Yikes.
the sparks on that. I was taking off so much material. The magnet on my phone in my pocket, I had a circle disc of steel
Mhm.
that had like stayed on my
Collected,
pants,
yeah.
and you could see like this black ring of like metal
That's funny.
right where my magnet was. I had metal shards all down my neck, all in my arms, and as you're moving around, they like
Yep.
itch. So like my whole neck felt like
Yep.
bugs like crawling in my.
And
was
it doesn't
horrible.
wash off easy either.
You know, when I went to
Yeah.
take a shower, like I had to scrub to get
Yep.
all that stuff off, and then like there was like metal crap like all in the bottom of the bathtub.
Yeah.
Um,
You basically just have to wait for your skin cells to reproduce and like push the metal out.
Yeah,
For
it
the
was-
smaller ones that get
yeah,
stuck.
it was a lot of work to get that table, but
Yeah.
it looks a lot better.
Good.
It obviously doesn't look great, but it looks a lot better,
Mhm.
and you won't cut yourself walking up to it, which
Yeah.
is good.
That table, I think it has really jagged edges like that because when they cut it on the plasma table, if a piece of metal has surface rust on it, then the plasma torch has trouble detecting how close it is to the metal. And so when there's clean metal, it can range perfectly. But when there's surface rust, it doesn't really understand where the surface of the metal is, so it'll move up and down and like get slower and then get faster again, and like it just ends up being like really jagged cuts.
I think some of them too, they just cut with a handheld plasma cutter, like just
that
like,
could be why too.
Yeah. Because it was pretty rough, but I got it to where it's good.
Mhm.
And so we ended up putting casters on it, put the feet on it, rolled it into the spot,
Cool.
and set it and leveled it.
Mhm.
And now that it's in the shop and it's cleaned up, I really like it.
Good.
I really like that table. I mean, it's 4 feet deep,
It's huge.
and then it's 9 feet and change wide.
It's an operating table.
Huge. It's a huge
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
So I got up on it, and it's like you cannot break this table. It is
No.
massive. I mean,
You could hit it with a truck and not break it.
yeah, I think the steel on the top is 3/4 or 7/8
Mhm.
thick. Like
Yeah.
it's massive.
Yeah.
And so like I really like the table now that it's in the shop. I
Mhm.
was like, I could put shit on it, and it's like I have so much space to work.
Yeah.
It's great. So that got in. That took a while to put it on, roll it in, get it set, whatever.
Right.
And then also Mike found some additional raw material.
Mhm.
So I brought that over and cleaned it and started organizing that on the shelf back there
Cool.
to get that on there.
Now
as
you have a
well.
place for it to go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I used the table to organize it.
Yeah.
Which was super nice. In addition to that, I'm getting the welder from Steve on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to use that welder. I'm going to just try to tack on that little cap on the pin. I'll probably do some practice welding.
Cap on the pin.
There. Oh yeah, one of the lift pins, the cap broke on the
Oh, okay.
on the pin.
Got
so
it.
I have to weld that little cap back on.
Got it.
With just little tacks. So I'm going to try that. This week I'll do some practice welding on something else.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure settings are decent.
Yeah.
And it works. But that stuff will happen this week as well as what happened this week already.
Right.
And I'm looking to move the green car and toolbox early this coming week. So
I will be there because I need to service the Lexus. And so I will help you move whatever you need in exchange for letting me service the Lexus once we're moved in.
Mike's got a trailer and stuff, so it should be pretty easy.
Good.
But yeah, I got to fix the pin because you can't use no one can use the lift right now. There's a pin out of it.
Got it.
So one of the arms isn't secured.
Right.
So we gotta do that stuff first. But then additionally, while there was a couple things I was like waiting on this week between alternator and also some more work to get done in the shop space. So I offered to help out Mike with his 914 while that stuff was kind of going just to help him out as well a little bit and a change of pace. From like cleaning and moving heavy shit. It was kind of, just a couple days break. So for those couple days, I helped him with his 914. So this week we tried to clean. Well, Mike cleaned out his old fuel pump and tried to get it working. But the mixture that he used to get the pump motor freed ended up burning the seals out. And so when we hooked it back up, it sprayed fluid. It fucking everywhere. Sprayed gas everywhere. And so that was a hassle. I had to clean that up, drain the tank. And then after that point, we got the interior back together in the car. So there was some mismatched stuff. There was a lot of things that were, or not a lot of things, but there was a handful of things that like they weren't set together. And so like the pedal plate and the brackets and the nuts and bolts were all in different spots. So kind of getting that stuff together and getting it all to work and look right was a bit of effort to get that clean. But at the end of the day, we got the pedal plate in, we got the backrest in, and sitting flush.
Backrest is the seat or behind the seat?
Behind the seats.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, the back.
It's the leather seats.
Yeah.
Got it.
Back panel leather. And then got the seats in, tracks lubricated, stuff like that. So got that all together in his car. It just kind of buttoning up this week while waiting on a few other things. But that was a majority of my week this week. A lot of kind of odd and stuff in there, but like some bigger movements as well. Getting that stuff done and together. But
sounds like it's almost done. Like you're
yeah,
almost there.
well, that's why I'm looking at moving the car in.
Right.
Because
you're almost there.
It's pretty much there.
Right.
I just need tools and the car. So pretty much there. I'm definitely going to get the car in at some point this week. I don't know if it'll be early or later this week. Probably earlier this week. And actually start working in there on it. So gonna drop the motor out of it. First thing when I work on it, I have to do some service work too that I'd like to do on the lift before I make that car immobile.
Right.
But yeah, so doing that stuff, that's pretty much my business update this week.
Cool, dude. Oh yeah.
What do you got for business?
I have more of a business update this week than I did last week.
Cool.
Which is good news. So Grace's family member is moving down here. We're helping them find a plot of land to build a tiny home on. And so Grace has been in the hunt of figuring out what the regulations are around that. So if the neighborhood you lived in had an empty plot of land and you went and bought that plot of land, to adhere to the zoning, because it's zoned residential, you have to build a home that's at least 800 square feet. Because if you build anything smaller, they're not happy with that being a residential unit. Then it's zoned as a tiny home community, right? There's only like one tiny home community in Brevard. Her family member doesn't want to live there. So we're going to try to find something else, right? Some areas, the requirement for residential is like 700 feet, which he can work with. Yep. Some of them you can get a, what's it called? Like an exception, right? Where you can build something smaller. You could also build on agricultural land and kind of do whatever you want with it, but then you're on agricultural land, right? there are unincorporated areas of Sebastian where there's no requirements at all. So you could find, like, for example, all of Vieira is unincorporated. You could do a tiny home there. Now, you can't actually do it in Vieira because Brevard has their own requirements about unincorporated land. But the Sebastian River County is all, or I'm sorry, Indian River County is all, you can do whatever you want on unincorporated land. So we drove down there yesterday and we showed him a couple properties. Grace has been showing him properties like for the last couple weeks. Yesterday we looked at like 6. And a couple, she said that these were better than the ones that they had looked at previously. So he might end up picking one of those and moving forward on it. I'm not sure. He said that he's gonna do like an analysis of what he likes and go forward.
Cool.
He's a lawyer, so he's
Did you figure
diligent.
out the air conditioning situation?
No, kind of. He realized that there are skylights in the camper, and they let a ton of heat in. So he bought
Yeah.
foam inserts to block that up, and he doesn't have a sunshade for the front driving cabin,
Oh,
and
okay.
so those should cut down on the heat loss by a lot. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they fixed the issue or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. I messaged, I think it was in the group chat.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I
Well,
messaged back.
Grace
Yeah.
texted you and she was like, "Are you using your AC?" And then I texted her privately and I was like, "You're gonna want to explain what you're talking about because Sandra's gonna be like, what?" So she was like, "Oh, okay." So then she explained it. But yeah, I don't know if they have a solution yet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys are welcome to that unit, but
Mhm.
I can't move it in my, like, I can move it in the BMW, but I don't have the BMW.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, we could probably fit it in the Lexus too. But
y-
like, my
yeah,
thought is it's a camper. Can you just drive the camper up and then fucking
yeah,
install it?
yeah.
But
But otherwise, I mean, it works great. I mean, it's 1200 BTU unit. I used
Mhm.
it I used it to cool down the entire duplex when the AC went out.
and
And
it
it
worked
worked.
well.
I mean, it was like, it was
It's a
middle of
huge
summer. It was
space.
July,
Yeah.
and it got the living room down because I had it in the living room. It got the living room down to like 76, and then the bedroom was like 78, 80, which
a
is
lot
like
better
really
than
good if it's 95 out.
right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
So that's the first update. We'll see how that goes with him. No other new clients. My Google ads, I have stats for here. It's been shown to 197 people, but
Cool.
I have gotten no calls yet. And so by comparison, Facebook has shown my ad to a lot more people. Google
Yeah.
has shown my ad to 200, right? But Google shows your ad to people who are searching for realtors in your area, right? So, at least they're showing it to qualified leads, even if they're not reaching out. I bumped up my spending cap from 300 a week to 360 a week.
Okay.
Given that I haven't been charged any money yet, anyways, I figure it can't hurt to go up a little bit.
Mm.
Um, so that's like just running in the background. It doesn't take any input. My Facebook ads, I hit 85 link clicks with 0 people actually filling out the Google form. And so I made a duplicate of that ad in the same ad set with also a link to the Google form, but an option for the Facebook form so that people could just fill out the Facebook form and go with that if they chose to do that instead of the link. The first one is outperforming the second one. I have 102 clicks on the first one and 7 link clicks on the second one.
Over the same time span though?
No, not at all.
Oh.
But what I am hung up on here is that no one has filled out the Facebook form. And so I'm wondering if I should have a different ad set of the same ad where there is no Google form, there's only the Facebook form. So I think that
There
might be what
should
I
be
do.
only a DM. You should do that.
I could do that too. It's like
Just
Facebook
like
Messenger.
the lowest friction possible.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can open up another one and then cancel this one that is like the weird form and
You could start just create another ad set in the same campaign
Mhm.
and do one, or I mean, it's small volume right now, so just do that one ad in that ad set of just a DM or whatever. Maybe a
Mhm.
couple, maybe like a DM versus a call,
Mhm.
2
Something like
ads,
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just like super low friction.
Yeah. I'm open to running that. It has shown my ad to 9,000 people,
Yeah.
which is great at a 20,000 impressions, so it's showing it roughly twice to everybody.
What's
Um,
CPM?
um 28 cents and 81 cents for the 2 ads, so an average.
No, no, no. Like CPM is cost per 1,000 people reached.
Oh, got it. I don't know how to find that.
There's
the
a
math in my head.
filters. How many people has it reached?
9,000.
How much have you totally spent?
$30 ish.
Okay,
$33.
so you're $30 for 9,000 people.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you're at so 30 divided by 9. 9,000 people for $30? That's
Yeah.
super cheap.
Yep.
Like super cheap. Yeah,
It's
that's like basically like 7. Other way.
other way.
Yeah, there you go.
300.
300.
9,000 divided by 30.
Oh wait, what do we? Fuck. Why is this? Why? How is this complicated for me? Why am I struggling with this?
I don't know. Cost per
Oh,
1,000.
30. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you had it right. Cost per 1,000, and then times.
It's a
Yeah.
yeah.
$3.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
$3 per 1,000 people.
That should have been able to do in my head. That's
okay.
concerning.
But that. I'm happy with that because these are only people in Brevard. Like I have Facebook ads filtered to only people in Brevard. And my problem with the social media stuff, which I'll get to in a minute, is that's nationwide. It's worldwide. It's anybody.
That CPM is so low. What's your daily budget?
$2.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But CPM is low CPM is good though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Well, yeah, it costs you less to reach more people.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I haven't gotten any clicks, which is a bummer, but that's also not the intent of this campaign. This campaign is supposed to be exposure and getting the ad account warmed up. So like I'm not super hung up on it. I will fiddle with the DM or whatever because if people are seeing it, I would like to figure out how they best interact with it, right? But overall it's going well. So I'm happy with it.
Cool.
Let me find my sheet again. That's my ads. Now, last week I said that I wanted to start doing social media ads and I had posted one and then I said I'd like to do one every day, but as long as I get 4 in this week, then I'll be happy. I have done one every day
Cool.
and they have increased in quality over the course of the week.
Good.
The first one that I recorded, I learned a lot. I did it in the Lexus at night with a light that I have. And although the footage looks fine on my phone, TikTok compresses the footage.
Yeah.
And then whatever the reverse of compress is when it shows people.
Or the equivalent of unzipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on my phone, when I look at my account, the exposure is fucked. The contrast is fucked. Like the composure of the shot looks terrible. When I look at it from Grace's phone, it looks fine. Not great. It's lower quality, but it's not like the exposure isn't fucked. So I've learned that instead of diving into a rabbit hole of figuring out like how to film whatever, it's just gonna look fucked on my phone. I did read somewhere that TikTok can have an easier time compressing your footage if you film in HD instead of high-res 4K.
Yeah.
And so I've been filming in HD 30 FPS on the phone. I don't know. I think they look fine. But I'll pull up the... Will it fuck up the recording if I pull up my account here? Okay, it does stop the audio recording if I open it up. So I'm not going to pull it up. But the TLDR is the first video that I just put it on TikTok. And my intent was to just post to TikTok, figure out what does well, and then the stuff that does well, carry it over to Instagram, Facebook, and then ultimately Facebook ads for the really good ones, right? Like throw a CTA at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The first one got like 100 views on TikTok. The second one got like 120. And I had the realization that most people who follow me on TikTok follow me from like the realtor shit that I made like a year ago. And like not all of them are in our area. The people on Instagram and Facebook who I follow are in my network. And before I've heard people say like, oh, your real estate stuff pops up on my feed all the time from my Instagram and Facebook. And I thought, if I'm going through the effort of writing scripts and filming videos, why the fuck am I only posting it on TikTok? That doesn't make any sense. So on day 3, I filmed a video and then I edited it and I put it on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Yeah.
So
good.
I'm trying to reach the most amount of people I can, ideally the most amount of local people I can. And the views are doing well. On TikTok, I'm averaging just over 200. I think my most recent one is like 260 views. And then on Instagram, I'm doing less. It's like 150, 160. But I'm happy with the quality of the content. I've already had people at the bar come to me and say that my stuff has been popping up on their feed and that they like it. So that's good. Adam today mentioned, so my videos, I'm kind of just making it a habit of making a video every day. It doesn't have to be about something in particular, but for some of them, I have scripts written out with intent, right?
Cool.
They all have CTAs at the end.
Cool.
So all of them are ads. But the scripts that I write are like carefully calculated, and then the free conscious ones are just like random. So like I did one where I was talking in the car while I was driving, which was interesting to film, and I didn't mind filming it that way.
Mm.
I'm trying to reduce the friction of me making the videos as much as possible so that I can do this every day. Because if it's a big pain in the ass, I'm going to put it off, right? The one that I filmed in the car was me free stream consciousness talking about how um, we had a client try to buy a house and the seller didn't like our offer, but the seller was moving into a new home, a new construction, and they hadn't been finished building the house yet. And so we agreed to do a post occupancy agreement. And so like that TikTok video was about post occupancy agreements and how being creative when putting deals together, it's not all about price, right?
Sure.
Which would then open the viewer's perspective to, oh, I always think about price when I think about a home. I didn't know that there were other ways to get a good deal on a home. Like I would be willing to let someone live at the house for another 2 weeks after I close if it saves me $40,000,
Mhm.
right? So that's kind of like an off-rip example. The ones that I have written out are more meticulous, I think, with a clearer intent, right?
Mhm.
But all of them have been good so far. I would stand by all of them. They're good. I have gotten into a habit, a routine, I think, and I mean, I've only made 7 videos, so like habit all you want. It's 4 videos. But I like making videos about other agents fucking up. And it's because I can so easily complain about the lift guy not doing a good job installing the lift. And I am less comfortable talking about how good of a job I've done on things, and I'm more comfortable talking about shortcomings of others, which I don't know what that says about me personally, but
Hmm.
I don't like to brag about myself, but I like to
Mhm.
highlight when other people are being taken advantage of by their agents. So like, for example, my buddy who, his parents are selling a $2.5 million house in North
Yeah.
Carolina. I made a video about that.
Mm.
And today, Adam noted, he was like, oh, your videos came up. And I was like, oh, that's good to hear. I hate making them, but I'm glad that you like them. And he was like, yeah, I never really realized how terrible of a job real estate agents do. Like, now I would be much more particular when picking an agent. And I was like, that's exactly the effect I want to have. So yesterday, we're doing showings for Grace's family member. And he wants to buy raw land. He was considering buying a house. He has a house as a backup option, right?
Mhm.
So we were going to go look at one of the houses. We put in our showing request online, and usually the selling agent will approve your request online, but they didn't for like 3 days. And so Grace called them, no answer, texted them, they read the text, no answer. So she texted them again, and they were like, oh, I'm not the lead agent on this house. Talk to my partner listed in the description. And Grace sent a photo of the description. She was like, you're the only person listed. Can you give me the contact info for the right person? Left on red. So she called him, didn't answer. And so I called him from a number that he wouldn't recognize. And when he didn't answer, I said, hey, James, I just came across one of your listings. I'm looking to buy in Florida and I want to make an all cash offer, but I have to close by the end of next week. So we got to move quick. And then I hung up. So he's going to get my message and get really excited about making a quick sale. And I'm never going to pick up the phone to give him a taste of his own medicine. But I asked Grace, I was like, can you send me the screenshots from that conversation so that I can blur out names and stuff and make a video about it? And she was like, I can, but be careful. Don't get into a routine of just ragging on other agents for a couple reasons. Like, number one, you don't want to be the negative Nelly. Number two, other agents know that you're ragging on them. And if my client wants to buy a house that that agent is selling, they'll lie to their client about our offer being bad to not make the deal happen. And that's a negative deficit to our clients,
Mm.
which is a valid criticism. And it's not one that I agree with spiritually, because I think that you should try to do your best for your client, even if you don't like the other agent. But she does make a point. So I am going to be trying to make a point in the future to not only make videos ragging on other agents.
Yeah.
Just something that I picked up on and learned this week.
Yeah.
But funny enough, the plant wall in my bedroom, great backdrop for filming videos.
Oh yeah. Sure.
So I've been filming my videos after work in the golden hour with like a light setup, and like I have my setup nailed down, and it's like easily repeatable. The only sticking point I'm having right now is that it's taking me a while to edit because I have to edit on TikTok and then edit on Instagram. Although if you like share from TikTok to Instagram, it tanks your views and it's not going to show it to any new people. And I do want it to show it to new people on Instagram. So the saving grace there is that when I edit on Instagram, it shares it to Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
So I get 2 for 1. So it's taking a little more time to edit than I want, but it's also on my phone. And like I have learned to edit in the TikTok app rather than editing on CapCut, which is what I had been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I can kind of like when we were doing the showings 2 days ago, Grace is kind of like taking point on that transaction. So I would drive and then park, and then they would get out and look at the property and then come back into the car. And I was editing my video while we were doing that. We stopped at a gas station. Grace had to take a shit. And so like while she was doing that, I was editing the video on my phone. So I think this is a sustainable pace at 1 video per day. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't hit 1 video per day, but I'm happy that the first week I'm getting started off strong, and I'm going to try to still be consistent with 1 video per day.
Sure.
So I'm happy with that.
Cool. Are you gonna film the bulk content with the different hooks, or are you going this route?
Well, so I want to do both. This week I wanted to focus on getting this down, because ultimately what I want is for someone to see an ad on Facebook or Instagram. I don't want them to go to my accounts and then just see open house posts. I want them to have content that they can go through and like start to learn to trust.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to get this week done. I do still plan on filming the bulk hooks and like other things. I think that the plant wall backdrop is good for static shots for that. I still want to be moving for some of the shots, probably the hooks. But I think it's okay to use those plants as like, if I do different like zoom ins and outs, I'm going to play with it. So I'm kind of using the social media short form to get comfortable in front of the camera, but also familiar with what my setup looks like and what a good setup for filming ads would be.
Yeah.
So if one of these like blows up and does really well, I'll just fucking throw that in Facebook and like I'll run that as an ad. But I still want to do the multi hooks and multi body like test setup.
Sure. Yeah.
I want to do both.
Okay.
But this week the focus was on getting the social media ads down.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my business update.
Very nice.
It's a good week.
Yeah.
What lessons did you learn this week?
I actually forgot to write a lesson down. I was in a rush this morning.
That's okay.
I was up late, up very late.
Okay.
Got up this morning.
Do you think you learned anything? It's okay to.
I'd say in like relative to the business side of things, probably not, because a lot of what I've been doing is kind of like rinse and repeat work. So I don't really feel like I've learned. I mean, I've learned like tactical things of like how the lathe works, or sorry, how the 6-axis mill works, or plumbing's, or like wiring of the AC units, like practical stuff like that. But in terms of like lessons on the business side, I'd say probably not really. I'd say probably my biggest takeaway is from the work side. Working with the coworker that I have, and it's been challenging. Like I think that the lesson that I've learned this week is I can do my best work when I work to my standard, and I work how I will. I think that it's easy in a 9 to 5 to kind of think about what do the other people want from me, or how can I appease this person or whatever. And I think that the results that I get from that are lower than if I just go about things from my own lens and just try to really hone it down.
Right.
And so that would be my lesson learned for this week, is what I'd say. But that's about all I got. I mean, it's just a lot of grunt work at the shop, so a lot of grunt work in that respect, and a lot of Wawa food.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad lesson at all to learn. I mean, there's a lot of smart people out there who just don't take the right initiative, right?
Yeah, and like the guy I'm talking about, like he's smart. Like I want him to take some initiative on, because he knows good questions to ask, and he knows these systems. More as much as anybody else does, but he just struggles to actually branch out and actually say something for whatever reason.
Right.
And I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like it's easy to say like, oh, that's not within my scope of work. I'm just gonna punt it.
Right.
Right. And like I I'd say I get that, but I don't. And so instead of saying I get that, I'll say I think that's fitting for a different kind of job.
Right.
And I think in the line of work that him and I are in, at least how I see it, especially at Blue Origin, where we do have a really strong direct competitor being SpaceX,
Mhm.
it is crucial that like if we stand to make an impact in the industry, we have to act with initiative and take initiative
Mhm.
whenever we can.
Right.
Otherwise, it just will fall. Things will fall by the wayside, and it's only a matter of time before Bezos realizes that 50% of his employees are just punting it to the other 50% of employees.
Right.
And so, I think from that respect, you know, I'd like to see a little bit more initiative taken, but that's about what I have for my lesson learned this week.
Okay.
What do you have for your lesson learned?
Okay.
I know you got a bigger one, right?
I do. I do have a bigger lesson, but
Yeah.
I need you to be in the right headspace for it,
Mm,
okay? So,
we have an intro.
we do. And it's an intro for you because
Mm,
I need you to receive this in the way that I want it to be received, okay?
okay.
We're going to start this off with like visualization, dream with me. Don't think about reality and like how it actually works or like problems. Like don't approach it with a negative. Don't let the nagging thoughts in. Like just go, man, that would be beautiful. That would be a beautiful thing. Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll get to the realistic stuff because the whole second half is realistic stuff. But like for the first half, I just want you to dream with me. Okay.
Okay.
So you'll notice I don't have an energy drink with me today.
You don't. That's good.
I don't. I just have water and tea. That's it. So
Nice.
I spent no money on this, right? That's important. We'll come back to that later. The Camaro is a fucking nightmare. Like I love that car for what it means to me. I love it when it's working. I love driving it even when it's not working. But like it's really pushing me to my limits every day of
Hmm.
sanity. So I have a list of things that's wrong with the car. The window tint is peeling on all windows. The window regulators are failing on both windows. So now when I roll them down, I don't roll them down all the way because I know that the tough spot is right at the bottom. So I roll them down to like a quarter left, and even that is a struggle. Um, the AC only conditions one way. It'll just make the cabin hotter. Doesn't blow cold at all. Doesn't even blow neutral at all because the days are 100 degrees. So it just
Yeah.
blows hot always. The paint is fading. The paint is peeling. There's rust under the hood from where the paint faded and peeled. It still burns oil. The headliner is disintegrating into my hair every day. The sunshades are disintegrating. Or no, the sunshade that I unfold is disintegrating, which leaves snow all over my dashboard. The sun visors that I use to hold up the sunshade are both broken. This one, you have to like pull it. There's like a rod that the sunshade
Yeah.
rides on. For whatever reason, when you fold sunshades up, it like clicks into place. For some reason, the click into place for that design, the aftermarket one that I bought because the original one broke 3 years ago, is if this is your headliner, this is the angle the sunshade is at. So it doesn't go like this, it goes like this.
Yeah.
So if you want it to be all the way up, which it has to be, or the cloth liner will start to fall off of it and it further disintegrates, you have to pull it down the shaft a little bit.
Mm,
And as you use it back and forth, it works its way back into that notch. So you have to pull it once every like 10 uses, right? The other one is just completely disconnected. So like when I get in the car, I there's like a hole that the thing is supposed to be attached to. It just falls out. But if I put it in and I wedge it, then it'll stay in place when the sunshade is up. So I take down my sun visor, my sunshade, before I take down my sun visor. It rides around on the floor of the passenger footwell. So now the fabric on that, which is very fragile, is getting all ripped up too. So like now this one's about to be disintegrated even more. The dash is cracked to shit, so the snow from the sunshade is getting into the dashboard. The speakers have never worked. The driver's seat is loose. So like if I open the door and you just put your hand on the back of the seat, the whole seat rocks back and forth. So under braking, the whole seat moves forward. And then under acceleration, the whole seat moves back.
uh-huh.
It drinks a quarter gallon of coolant every time I get in it, without fail, every time. I had that week where it was doing really well. It doesn't do that anymore. Now it's bad again. So I have to fill it up with coolant every time I start it. The turn signals no longer work. That's an update from this week. And the taillight is out again. I got pulled over again. So I do love this car, but I think I love the idea of this car in its peak form more than I love where it's currently at. Oh, and I forgot to write this down. The weather stripping on the back has come up on 3/4 of it. So if I go over 60 miles an hour, it flies out, and then it's just got the weather stripping wagging its
Yeah.
tail behind the car. Like I would say every other day I have to go fucking feed it under the rear wing and then like tuck it back into place against the hot glass, right? I love this car. I think in my perfect world, I drive this car like once a week and I spend most of my time fixing it and making it better because I do want this car to last a long time. It has been relatively reliable given it's a modded to shit American muscle car from the 90s and it's got 225,000 miles on it. But I think that in my happiest state, I'm able to park it and then repair it over time and drive it sparingly and then maybe drive it more once it's like restored. Not American Muscle Car Museum restored, but like restored, right? In contrast, I've highlighted the issues with the ES that I own. There's a if you open the back driver passenger door, there's like a very slight, it's not like a tear, but it's like the headliner droops a little bit. And that's it. That's all the issues. That's everything. Everything else is perfect. Knock on wood. So this week I was just frustrated and I was talking to Grace and I was like, I'm so like, I don't want to fill my car up with coolant every time. And I also don't want to fix it. Like the amount of money that it would cost to fully restore the Camaro is crazy. The amount of time that it would cost is also like time that I'm unwilling to spend right now. And like, it's just going to get worse. Like the whole time that I've owned it, I like to joke that when my dad bought the car from the dealership, he spent all his money in his 20s making it fast. And now I have to spend all my money in my 20s keeping it running. And like, even then, like I can't even fucking keep it running. Like it's running, but it fucking blows coolant out of the reservoir every day. And like, I like now I have to put money into keeping like the what is it not called when it's mechanical? It's the other thing, the aesthetic parts, like all up to date. It's just like I'm not enjoying the car the way that I know I can enjoy the car. I'm also not enjoying my daily life because driving the car is like not comfortable anymore. Like it's hot and it doesn't like the tires are really worn. The tires need to be replaced. So I was talking to Grace and I was like, how far off of an LC am I? Like how much more money do I have to make per month? Does getting a promotion make the difference? Because we talked the other week about a promotion would be like another $1,500 a month. And that's basically a Lexus LC car payment. And I was like, if I get this promotion, can I afford an LC? Because like, I don't know how much money I really spend right now. I don't know how much money I make right now, but I feel like if I made another $1,500 a month, I could dump that into an LC payment and be okay. And so frustrated, I went to my finances to dig into it and figure out like how far off am I today? Like if I only spent on like the necessity, how far off am I today? And I have an Excel sheet here. First of all, I'll ask, do you think this is even possible mathematically?
Yeah, I think it's possible mathematically.
Really?
Yeah.
At the beginning of this week, I was like, there's no shot, but I want to know how far off I am.
No, it's like no, 100%. Like you could math it out for sure.
I'm glad you have faith in me. I had no faith. I was like, there's no shot. I can't do it, right? Now, me not having an energy drink here today might tip you off one way.
Yeah.
So I calculated up my expenses. So I calculated up my mandatory expenses. Can't adjust, right? So like rent, fixed cost. Power, I took an average over the last 6 months. Conveniently, we're at the end of the first half of 2026. So I'm just using an average of my first half of the year expenses. So I think it's a pretty accurate like estimate, right? So like power, internet, the storage unit, groceries, auto insurance, stuff like that, right? And with a few adjustments, so like for example, I'm keeping my $10 a month Jungle Keepers donation in there because my rule is I don't want to consider buying this car if it's going to significantly degrade my current quality of life. And I am really personally fulfilled. I know $10 a month isn't a whole lot, but I do believe in that cause and I do want to continue to give money to it. So like I have that factored in, right? But all else, like only buying groceries, that means no energy drinks, no Kava bar, no Powerball tickets, no buying a fucking display case for my Legos, no going to fancy restaurants. I have a remainder of $1,800 a month. And I was shocked at that.
Yeah, no, it adds up fast.
Because every month I don't put $1,800 into the bank account like I spend on other shit.
Yeah.
And so I got like kind of pissed. And so I started digging into my finances here. And so I have an Excel sheet. And Grace actually gave me a funny quote. I was like, "Do you want to see my Excel sheet?" And she was like, "Sure." And so I was walking her through it. I mean, you know how I work,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's long.
And so she gave me a funny quote. She was like, "How does everything you do turn into this?" Like just big Excel sheet. Um, but oh, sorry.
You're good.
But I looked into everything and I spend like an ass. Like $200 a month on fast food. And that's energy drinks and like fast food, right?
Mhm.
And I categorize fast food as food where I could go home and eat, but I'm eating out because of convenience. Like I'm on my way to the bar, let's just grab something, or like I'm up by Blue Marlin, I didn't want to pack a lunch, right? Like, you know, if I got cancer and my cancer bill was $1,700 a month and I had to like really like spend on a wire, right? And be frugal, then I could pack a lunch. Um, Home improvement, it's an average of $250 a month. That lattice wall costs like $800. And so that brings the average up. But like still, what the fuck do I spend on a home improvement, you know? Like the Ring camera subscription, I guess, but like what the fuck else am I buying? Bed sheets, bath mats, stuff like that. It's just like shit, you know? Um, Shopping, $360 a month. That's like trips to Orlando. We're going to Mochi Nut. We're going to like fucking, the Italian restaurant in West Palm. And as a part of shopping and vacation, which is also $350 a month, there's other things rolled in there too. Like I'll always pay for Grace when we're out, but I'll also always pay for other people when we're out. So like when Grace's friend came to town, they needed to buy like dresses at the mall or something. So we stopped at Auntie Anne's on the way out and I just paid for everybody. And like we went out to Rachel's and I just like got the tab. And so I realized that like I I tip when I go to the bar every time. Even if I just get my loyalty, I still tip like $3, which adds up over the course of a month. So
Yeah.
like those kind of things, I mean, that's $700 a month, you know?
Yeah.
Um, Gifts is another $100 a month. And like I'm not even counting the other things as gifts. Like that's just like like genuine like like Father's Day gifts, like things I buy people. And so like this whole exercise has really like shifted my perspective on spending because now instead of going like, oh, it's okay if I only end up with like an extra $100 or $200 every month to put in a savings account, because the way that I live my life is not how standard people do. Like, I don't want to work until 65 and then retire. I don't
Mhm.
want to save chunks of my money over the course of my life so that I can afford to retire. I never want to retire. I
Mhm.
want to work until I die, and I want the work to result in money. So, if I'm never going to retire, then I don't need a retirement because essentially retirement is just a savings account for like 20 years of living, right? I really only need a savings account of like 6 months to a year of living because if I lose my job, I need enough money to get me to the next job, right? Or if
Mhm.
my business fails, then I need enough time to get to another job, right?
Sure.
So ideally, that 6 months is like 2 years of squish room. But like, if I go 2 years without making any money, I've probably become a vegetable because of a car accident, right? So like, I'm not too worried about that because then
Mhm.
I've got other bigger fish to fry. Um, so like, when I don't think about an LC and I just think about my spending, it's not a huge deal. But when I think about like, oh, I have been able to afford an LC for like years and just
Yeah.
haven't taken it seriously,
Yeah.
which is really aggravating. And I recognize this is an isentropic scenario where I don't spend any money other than my needs, right? $1,800 a month. And that $1,800 a month is including a $200 a month garage payment because I would want to get a garage at the apartment
Sure.
complex for it. Now, even that I have reconsidered because if I drive the LC every day, I'd probably drive the ES on the weekends. Probably wouldn't drive the LC every weekend, right? It would be in the garage from the hours of like 8 p.m. or I'm sorry, like 10 p.m. to like 8 a.m. while I'm sleeping. And that's it. And like, I'm not keeping it out of the harsh rays of the sun at that point.
Mm.
I'm keeping it safe from people breaking into it. But like, fortunately, there haven't been any issues like that in my apartment complex, knock on wood, for anybody.
Sure.
So I'm not super worried about that either. It is an expensive car. But like, I don't know. I kind of feel like if the apartment complex said like, we don't have any garages available, would that stop me from getting the car? Probably not. So then like, do I
Mhm.
need it at all? And then that's $2,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then I learned that there are other car payment options. So like I thought that like 72 months was the max car loan that you can get. You can get an 8-year car loan, which would get the monthly down to $1,300 a month.
Mhm.
So then $1,300 a month. If I pay for a garage, I have an extra $450 a month, $500 left over at the end of, like I could set aside half of that to like restaurants and shit like that and still have $250 a month in profit that I could put in a savings account, which is more than I have been the past few months, frankly. So I did that math and I was like kind of pissed off about it. And I was like, whatever, like, I've wanted an LC, but like I don't even know if I like the car. Like what if I got like another ES, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that solves my Camaro problem. It's not as expensive as an LC. And then I could just sell the car when I have an equity position in it and can get an LC more comfortably, and then I'll buy it, right?
Sure.
But thinking about that, I was like, well, the problem there is if I get like a 5 or 6 year loan on another ES, I know I will fall in love with the car and I know I will not want to sell the car. You and I know how I work with that. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
want to get rid of it. I could get like a Camry, which I'm probably not going to care about as much, but I also don't want to drive a car that I don't care about as much. I want to
Yeah.
love the car that I drive. And so that's kind of a sticking point too, because if I buy an ES and I really love it, then I'm not going to sell it. And I'm also not going to be able to afford an LC for even longer because I have to satisfy that loan before I can free up that monthly income to buy the LC. So like, fuck, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately I was uncertain. And last week, Ryan told me that one of his coworkers has an LC. And so I introduced myself to him. It's funny. I came up to him at his desk and he had headphones in. He was on his high side computer. And I said, hey, do you have a minute to talk about something not work related? And he like froze up. He was like, no, I've been given like explicit tasking from my boss to like minimize subtasks. And I was like, okay, cool, dude. No, like, no worries. I'll IM you on the low side and you can let me know when you're free. And I start walking away. And he goes, wait, what's it about? And I said, your car. And he said, my car? And I said, yeah, our mutual friend, Ryan, told me you have an LC. I'm curious. And he was like, oh, okay. And so I get back to my desk and I IM him and I'm like, hey, like, let me know when you're free. And he was like, dude, I thought you were like an HR plant. Like, I thought you were here to like, ask me to do like a Northrop Grumman survey or some shit. Like, I didn't know you were an engineer. That's so funny. And I was like, I'm not an HR plant. He drove his car to work on Friday.
Oh, cool.
He has, Ryan told me that it's green. And I pulled up in public records and I found that he has a 2020. And I know that the only green that you can buy an LC in is the Nori green paint scheme. And I know that that was introduced as an option in 2021. So you can't get it in 2020, but you can, because in 2020, they debuted that paint color on their Inspiration Series edition, of which only 100 were made. And so I know he has an Inspiration Series car, which is a rare version of the LC. And so immediately, like, I tell him that I know that, and he's like, oh, this guy knows ball. And so he brought the car and showed it to me. I drove around the parking lot looking for it. It's a big parking lot at Northrop Grumman, right? But I drove around the parking lot looking for it. I've never seen Nori Green in person, and I see very few LCs in person. I've never been inside or even seen the interior of an LC. I've only seen them driving past, right? And driving around the parking lot, I found it with like total ease because of the presence that this car has for me. And I love the green. The green looks great. The car looks great. Like I love the same emotion that I feel when I look at the McLaren F1 is the same emotion that I feel looking at this car. Like I just adore this car. And so at the end of the day, he walked me out and he started it up for me. Actually, he let me start it. He let me sit in it and play with the touchpad and everything. And dude, everything is as perfect as I thought it was in my head. Like I was almost hoping that I would sit in it and be like, nah, it's kind of like creaky or tacky or whatever, right? No. It's even better than I thought.
Yeah.
The build quality is phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
I've done so much research on this that like I now know to look for the exposed forged carbon fiber in the side of the door sill, and there's little bolts that have Lexus stamped into the bolt heads, right? I know to look for those things. Like there's so many details of this car, and in the Inspiration Series, it has a black and brown interior that you can't get in any other car. It's only this Inspiration Series, and online it looked kind of like black and then like baby shit brown. Not good. When I got in the car, I was like, oh, this is like a chocolate brown. It's not like baby shit brown. Like it feels more luxurious in person. This is a really pleasant surprise. I thought I would hate the black. Because I don't like black interiors on most cars.
Yeah.
And when I look at photos, it feels very monotone and like muted. And when you look at like the tan interior for an LC, it like comes to life for me.
Right.
And in person, I'm like, dude, I don't even not like the black. Like the black even looks good. Fuck, I really am in love with this car. I was also concerned the 2018 to 2023 had a non-touch screen, and
Yeah.
you use like a little mouse pad on the
Yeah.
center console to control it, right? and I had heard terrible reviews from that mouse pad. And but on the new ones, 2024 to 2026, it's got a big touch screen like my ES, and the beauty of the dashboard is inhibited because of that. And I watched a 3-hour video online one of the nights this week walking through how to use the touchpad infotainment system, and it does not look that complicated to me. And then when I got in the car and I used it, I was like, holy shit, this is sick. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind this at all. This is kind of better than a touchscreen because then you don't get finger marks everywhere. And I don't have to reach up. I can just reach it from where I'm sitting, right? And I think this is okay to say, in military aircraft, you don't have touch screens that you do. You have screens, but you don't touch the screens. You use little keypads and mouses and stuff and like touchpads and things, not a mouse, but like touchpads and things. So I feel like I'm in a fucking military aircraft when I'm in this
Right.
car. And so it was a wonderful experience. And then he drove me back to the building. So I got to hear it like being driven a little bit. And then I got to see it like driven away. And I was like, fuck, I love this car. Since August last year, when I learned about this car, do you remember when we were at the American Muscle Car Museum and I told you about this new car, right? Since August last year, Grace has been trying to find an LC at a dealership locally so that I could get an up close look at it. They haven't had any. This week, Lexus in Melbourne got one in.
Nice.
And so we were getting dinner for Grace's dad's birthday in the Avenues. And so I was like, let's go early and take a look at the car. So we went early and took a look at the car. It was white, which I'm not a fan of the white. Like, if I were to get a color, I would want it to be black, green, blue, or dark gray. I'm not a fan of the white. And it had a black and red interior, which is my least favorite interior for this Lexus. And in person, I was like, dude, this thing looks good in any color. Like, even the interior, like even the black and red. Like, I wouldn't buy it, but I can appreciate it. Like, I still love it. And so I was like showing Grace all around, and one of the salesmen came over and he was like, do you want me to start it? Like, you know what you're doing. And I was like, sure. And so he like started it up for me, and like we had a conversation about it, but it was beautiful. I loved the car.
Yeah.
And so that's the dream function here is like, how would my life change if I got an LC, right? Because like I wouldn't have to deal with the Camaro anymore. The LC would be more reliable mechanically than the Camaro, knock on wood. From reviews that I've seen, there's people who have put 150,000 miles on this car with regular maintenance and no issues. There's minor issues like the green LC that my coworker had an issue. The door handles are flush. They sit inside the door and then they pop out for you to use it, right?
Yeah.
I think some Teslas have a door handle like that, right? If you leave the car unlocked in the rain gets into the actuators, right? They still work, but it makes a farting sound when you lock and unlock the car. And like that's the biggest issue that like people have had. So like not having to fill it up with half a gallon of coolant every time you get in the car type issues, right? And so that's where I'm at is here's what I'm going to do, right? Because I want this so badly that I'm willing to cut back on like a crazy amount of spending to get it. Like I will do deranged shit to get this car, but I won't do deranged shit that like significantly is a detriment to Grace's life because I pay for all our shit. And like, I will not be late on rent for a car for this, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to live the next 2 months as if I'm making LC payments. So like for the next 2 months, I have to have like $1,400 cash ready to go to pay for an LC, right? And if I'm able to hit that mark both months, then I will have proven that it's a sustainable goal, and I will allow myself to go talk to a loan officer and get a loan and then start looking for the car. And I would want a really particular one, so it wouldn't be like a right away thing. It would be like when it comes on the market, be ready for it thing. But I will continue to live as if I'm making those payments. And the money that I accumulate can either go into savings or can become a down payment for the car for when I find the car, right? There's also costs that I haven't, I'm in the process of accounting for in my spreadsheet. For example, the Rolex tickets, right? Something that I'm not willing to budge on. The food that we get for when we go to the Rolex, that's like $150, right? Not willing to budge on those things. It should still be in my budget every month, but I'll take the annual cost and then I'll split it up over the month.
Sure.
I didn't pay for the Rolex ticket in the first half of this year. It'll be in the second half of the year.
Right.
So that's not accounted for in my finances. My Whoop subscription is like $350 a year. Have to account for that. Grace had a good one. What was it? Can't remember. Like those like once a year. Oh, the F1 TV. The once a year subscriptions or payments, I have to roll into my monthly to make sure that I'm setting aside money for that. But I think it's possible, and I think if it's not possible, it's really close, and a promotion would for sure get me there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to attack this as if I don't have a promotion, and is it possible doing it currently? And then if I get a promotion, that just makes it even easier. But regardless of promotion, I want to clean up my spending because I'm spending too much. And even if that money doesn't go into an LC, it could go into other things. So that's my lesson learned. What do you think?
What's the lesson out of it?
I don't know.
Oh.
I spend more money than I thought I did.
Yeah.
I make more money than I think I do.
Yeah, I mean, I learned the spending thing from e-commerce for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm cheap because I still buy like expensive items, but they tend to be like large quantity expenses, like
Mhm.
tires or oil
Mhm.
or welder or whatever it is, right? Like it's just like a
Mhm.
large box of
Mhm.
like, okay, this gets money once every 6 months or a year or indefinitely. Like
Right.
this just gets money once and then that's it.
New shop stuff while you're building it out.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like one bulk. But yeah, it is staggering how much money you could save by not spending on little stuff. Like I'm very cheap when it comes to like ordering food
Mhm.
or going out or buying extra shit or going on dates.
Mhm.
Um like if there's an ice skating option in Orlando
Mhm.
and we're in Orlando and there's an ice skating option on the way back in Rockledge,
Mhm.
I will, and like the Orlando option is like $5 or $10 more expensive. I'll be
Mhm.
like, we're not going. Like
Yeah.
we're going to Rockledge
Yeah.
on
It's the
our way
same
back.
experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like I'm very cheap when it comes to that at this point. Or
Mhm.
like when I'm at like a 7-Eleven or whatever, and there's like some drink I want, but there's an alternative that has a BOGO deal on it
Mhm.
that I want less, but is good enough. I'll
Mhm.
get the BOGO deal every time.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff like that, like I get super cheap on. Or
Mhm.
like Blue Origin gives out like free like drinks and snacks and stuff like that. Like I'll take a thing of trail mix and some drinks
Mhm.
and like bring those to the shop with me because I don't want to stop at 7-Eleven on my way back and spend $5.
Right.
Like I'm
So
super stupid cheap with that stuff.
I really like having the financial flexibility to just buy what I like in the moment.
Oh yeah, me too.
I like
But it
that.
doesn't work.
I like that.
Yeah.
It has worked because I have been able to afford it.
Right.
But this week in particular, I pick up the energy drink and then I go, I'd rather have an LC.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have an LC 500. And so then I put it back. Why do you put it back?
I put it back because I realized how much how easy it is to spend so much money,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm tired of not having some sort of disposable income in order to either have it as backup because
Mm-hmm.
shit always happens,
Mm-hmm.
or to spend it on stuff I care about more.
Yep.
Um, it's like
Like automotive racing, like miscellaneous. There's not like a particular thing, like, the
yeah,
LC, right, is what
right.
I'm thinking of.
There's not like a flagship singular item.
Right.
But like for like any of the Porsche stuff, like all those parts cost money,
Mm-hmm.
or any sort of like future potential racing thing like that will cost some sort of money. Kind of like the thing that like the thing that's kind of been ringing in my mind is Hermosi has a podcast. It's like a short podcast. It's like 7 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about how um, one of the things he talks about is if you want to get in investing but you don't know what to invest in, save money so you can invest in the future
Mm-hmm.
when you have the opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Tesla, or the SpaceX IPO was like really an awakening for me for that. Where like I'd had that before, but it never quite set in until like Sammy was able to put 5 grand into SpaceX and not flinch and make $1,000 in 6 hours,
Right.
and I had $500 in my bank account.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Shit.
shit. Yeah,
Yep.
right. And so, but like, it doesn't, for the consolation of that, it doesn't really matter for me because my prediction was that it was going to pump up really high and then drop down over the course of the next 3 months.
Sure.
And it's already dropped to the point of the IPO price and it's continuing to fall.
Right.
And so like that was my prediction, but I did miss out on a massive pump in the beginning, which I did predict and I did know would happen. And watching that happen and knowing that I couldn't do anything about it because I made stupid decisions prior was frustrating.
Yeah, and like it's not just the IPO, like there's other investment opportunities.
Oh yeah,
also.
of
Like
course.
so the reason that
Yeah, it's like putting fucking tires for the Miata on buy now, pay later Affirm. It's like, fuck,
yeah,
you know?
I
It's
understand
annoying.
that. I had my fucking display cabinet for the Lego on buy now, pay later. Not because
Yeah.
I had to, because I had the money, but I was like, well, it's more convenient. Like the number doesn't look as bad if it's $70 a month for 3 months instead of like,
Right.
$2,100 or $210
But
today.
I'm super cheap with that stuff.
Yeah.
Or like I'll go see Joel maybe sometimes at Noble, like maybe once every other week or something
Mhm.
like that. But he messaged me a couple times this week, and he was like, "Oh, like you want to come to Noble for a show or whatever?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm working at the shop, but if you want to bring shells here, like go
Yeah.
for it." Because it's like I know that if I go to Noble, like Joel may bring me a shell or something like that, maybe, right?
Right.
But I know that if I go to Noble, I will get more than one,
Right.
and the tab will be somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,
Right.
or so,
Mhm.
right? And it's like I don't want to spend that. I don't want to spend those $20.
Right.
Um, but and if I'm going somewhere to spend money, like I'm going out, I will spend the money to go out and enjoy my time, but like only in those circumstances. Like if I have the choice to go out, it's not like Sammy really wants to do this thing, right? Or whatever. It's like, no, like
Rolex.
I can or cannot do this thing. Like I will 9 times out of 10 or even more than that choose not to,
Right.
because of the money.
Correct.
In terms of the LC, I think there's pros and cons to it. I think that uh, the the pro side I see of it is that I do think it's wise, regardless, to consider expenses and to pull down expenses that are unnecessary.
For sure. Yeah.
I
That's
know
the
even
silver lining.
principal engineers who I've chatted with who are very frugal with subscriptions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes to their detriment,
Mhm.
right? Because you can not spend enough and then waste a ton of time,
Right.
right? Like a prime example of that was like when I was doing the air compressor fix, like we had a small amount of Teflon tape that would be enough to do it like 1 or 2 wraps,
Mhm.
right? Or I go buy some new Teflon tape and like really do it right.
You only have to do it once.
And so I drove out and I did it once right, where it's like you could have tried it with
Right.
that stuff, see what leaked after that point, and then reassessed,
Mhm.
right? But it's like you wasted a day.
Right. Well, and
Um,
the time and money of you
yeah,
have to
and
go buy the roll
Teflon tape is
anyways.
$2.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah.
right. So I think that like sometimes it can be a 50-50 with that, right? But I think that cutting down expenses and understanding where you spend and why is always a good thing. I think the second thing is that I think that the car has two different sides to the coin. I see it as it could be motivational in order to continue making more money so that you can reintroduce things you like spending money on
Mhm.
after you get the car,
Mhm.
right? And like the car being as like a force function
Mhm.
for getting the other stuff back into your life.
Mhm.
I also see the side of the coin where the car becomes a burden in order for you to have the freedom to to get business stuff going in order for you to get out of that hole.
Mhm.
So I see the two sides of the coin where that if the car is too much of a burdensome expense
Mhm.
in terms of the payment, or other stuff comes up, right? It's like shit just comes up.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, there have been many, many times in my life where it's been like, "Oh, well, what are we this week?" It's like, "Oh, I need an alternator." Well, there's $200,
Right.
right? And it's like, right? I'm like, that stuff happens every week or here and there, right? And like, you can probably average it out over time. I've never done it. I'm sure that you could with the sheet, but
I'm working on it.
like
Yeah.
there are things like that, right? That like when money gets tight, I mean, you know this too. It's
Mhm.
like when finances get tight, it can be stressful to operate,
Right.
because trying to navigate that and figure out how you're gonna pay for this $200 thing because you have an $1,800 or $1,500 a month like burden on the other end of that scale. $1,300 a month burden on the other side of that scale is really hard.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I see it in that respect as challenging.
Can I speak to those?
Yeah.
So I think that my drive to earn money is unchanging. Like in a variety of conditions, my drive to earn money has not changed. Like I have had very little money, and like currently I have a decent amount of money. And my will to work, my will to earn money hasn't changed. And so I don't think I'm too worried about like losing motivation. Like of course there's always something good to look forward to, right? But I think that even if I got the LC, you know how everyone, I think in like one of our first episodes, we were discussing the guys who are like, get the dream car, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I think there's sorry.
I can see both sides of that. I can see like, well, once you have the dream car, like then you're just going to look for the next thing, right?
Right.
And then you have less motivation, so you don't work as hard. Then you could
Or
also
you
see
already
it's a
kind of
force
have the
factor.
dream thing, so you kind of lay off the gas.
Ease off the gas, right?
Right.
So I can certainly see that as a possibility. From what I have seen in my actions in the past, I'm not concerned about losing motivation. Of course, I could always eat my words, right?
Mhm.
Unknown expenses and times getting tough. Like I could lose my job, right? Like I could replace this all, and then I have a $1,500 a month car payment that I have to figure out, right? I could lose the car. I could like not make payments and it could get repoed, right? And then I have an emotional attachment to a car that I'm losing. And that's a difficult thing too. So I can see the risk there as well. And it's something that I consider. I think that I have enough savings. I would not be considering this if I did not have like a 6-month savings account. I do have a 6-month savings account. And so ultimately I'm not as stressed about it. And if I'm not able to incorporate the average of my annual spending into my monthlies, like I will not buy the LC if it leaves me at $0 every month, because then the only additional income I have is from real estate. And I want real estate to fund real estate in its own account. So like my monthly income that I have calculated, all of this is Northrop income, $0 from real estate.
Right.
My monthly would bump up significantly if I included real estate. And I'm not doing that because I want to be able to make this work regardless of real estate, so that there's not pressure for me to sell, because salesmen who sell under pressure take advantage of people, and I don't want to fall to that, right? Something that I have considered is that if I buy an LC, my minimum monthly income now increases significantly by $1,500. I'm including the garage in that. 13, 15, whatever. Well, I guess my insurance goes down by 100, so $1,400, right? Which means that now I need to be making significantly more from real estate to replace my Northrop income, to transition into real estate full time.
Sure.
And that is something that gave me my biggest pause, because what's most important to me on like the next 10 years of my life is getting out of a 9-to-5, right?
Right.
And this would be a big hindrance to that. By the same token, to get to the point where I can replace Northrop with real estate, Grace and I have to be working on deals separate. Like we can't be going together on everything, because to hit that level of volume, she has to be working with the client while I'm working with the client. Meaning I need a car to get me to where I need to go. And the Camaro is not that car. So I have to have a car to get to that volume anyway. I can choose a cheaper option. I can get a Toyota Camry for like $300 a month. That is much more doable than $1,400 a month. I then run into the issue earlier of, well, that delays an LC and it's a car that I want to care about and like all that stuff, right?
Sure.
And I think that ultimately when I look at the scale moving either way, what keeps fucking nagging at me, and I know that I'm in like I know that this sounds like emotionally nutty, right? So like just bear with me, but it's this mean.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. It's the I'm just
I
gonna
had
wait
shoes
forever
like
meme.
that where I
Right.
bought these Ferrari shoes in Italy and I didn't want to get them dirty.
Right.
And so I wore them twice and I loved them, and then I grew out of them and I was like, why did I fucking wait?
Right.
Which is why now I wear my fucking
Expensive ones every
yeah, I
Yeah.
wear my nice ones every day because I'm like, well, they're comfy. And then people look at them, they're like, damn, those are beat. And I'm like, yeah, because I'll wear them.
Yeah.
They're shoes.
That's exactly how I would treat the LC. I mean, the Scarpas that I wear are like $200. Like
yeah.
I like using things, right? But this isn't like, there is no question if I get an LC, it will quickly become the highest mileage LC on the planet. And I would wear that badge with pride, right? But what I'm really most concerned about is that like they're not building the LC after this year. It's the last year of production, right? So they're just going to get more expensive. Like the ones that go down in value are not the ones that you want to buy because they've been mistreated and they have problems, right? So like they're just going to go up in value. And so like if I get a Camry and I continue doing real estate and it takes me 2.5 years to get to the point where I can replace my income, and like it's 2028 and I'm making enough money to buy an LC, and now they're all 150 grand or 160 grand with a bunch of miles on them, and I can't find the spec that I like, and it's like at that point, like I've waited so long, like that's like it's 2 years that I could have been driving the LC and enjoying the car, and ultimately I will enjoy real estate significantly more and my life significantly more if I have a reliable car, right?
Yeah. I will say this. I think that um I think the wise decision, regardless of where you go route, is you should cut out the unnecessary expenses.
And that
Hands
is
down.
what I'm doing.
Like regardless.
Yep. No energy drink.
I will say I think that the tint, the sun visor issues, the seals, the window regulators, the AC. I think the overheating thing is going to be the fan, and the other odds and ends. Even if you didn't want to do it yourself, and there was no shop availability or nothing, like all that was wiped out.
Mhm.
$5,000 to a reputable shop would make that car right. I will say that.
Yeah.
Like $5,000 to someone else to really do it right and do a nice job. I understand the side of the coin where it's like I want to do that stuff myself, but you know that side of it. But like $5,000 would make that car have working windows, working tint. You could probably get the dash replaced too, and then the AC and the other knickknack stuff.
Yeah.
Like that would solve that car.
So here's my concern. My concern isn't with the cost to make all those things happen or even the time and energy. My biggest concern, and it's from what I've seen with the car, is that as it ages, there's always something new. It's is it Theseus's ship? Where you replace the plank that's rotting and then the sails or whatever, and eventually it's not the same ship. It's that I know that if I dropped money on it today to make it perfect, I know with a fact that by Christmas time there will be some type of mechanical issue. I'll be burning so much oil that I've got to replace the piston rings, and it goes on.
But
right?
it will. I would argue that it would never be more expensive than $1,300 a month.
I agree with you, and I also think that it would even be. I would argue that rather than continuing to put money and effort into the Camaro to make it better and fix reliability issues, it would be more worth it to me to buy like a Camry for $300 a month and have that reliability and comfort, right?
Yeah.
What I then question is the extra 1,000 on top of a Camry a month worth it to me to have an LC versus a Camry?
Right.
And that's the question.
I get, well, also, like, I think the second question of that, or the question that I have is the extra $1,000, let's say, and change either way, depending on the route you go, right? The extra approximately $1,000 a month, is it worth pulling back my spending and going the route in order to make that achievable, and then put that 1,000 into improving my skills in the business, or is it worth putting it into the LC? Right. And I think that's kind of a personal decision for you. I mean, I see both sides of it. Like there is not another time where you can be 25 with an LC 500. Right.
And something else
Like
that I
I
consider,
get that. And like I always used to think this was super dumb, but like I saw the people who like travel and they're like, I'll never be traveling the world in my 20s again. I'm like, you're a fucking moron. And I was like that was kind of my vibe to it, right? But like then I met Sammy, and like I see her in Costa Rica doing all this stuff, and I'm like, it's not even, I'm really not like jealous that she's there. What I was jealous of, what it was like the first time I was jealous on a trip was I always wanted to go to Galapagos Islands. I want to see the fucking turtles.
dude, I grew up doing the same thing. And the sea iguanas?
Yeah,
that
I
eat the
want to
kelp?
see the,
Yeah.
right?
And the penguins.
And she at first was going to go to the Galapagos before the passport issue. And I was like, fuck, like I've always wanted to go see the Galapagos Islands. And I was like, I'm never gone. And like watching her go on these trips, like I get it. Like I do really get it. Like in your 20s, like being able to enjoy that, it is a once in a lifetime kind of thing. right? And it is, I would presume that it's different when you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s to go and travel like that, right? And like at the end of the day, everyone makes a choice in the direction of their life, and everyone wants something that they don't have. But I get that side of the coin on the LC. What I would say is that I I could make a similar argument for um, cutting out a vast majority of my expenses, cutting down the shop space, trying to do that all in my garage, and really make a super budget version. And I could probably make an equivalent cut down for a Ferrari 308, which is approximately the same price as an LC 500.
Sure.
Right. And I've always wanted that car. It's not an F40, but it is a car that I grew up idolizing because of a TV show I watched.
It's a very, very fair equivalent to the LC.
Right. It is about the same price. It wouldn't be as reliable. The maintenance would be higher, right? So there are major differences in that respect. And it's not a modern car. And the AC from new feels like a small child blowing on you through a straw. So it's not equivalent in that respect, right? But it's in terms of finances, it
Similar.
roughly could be similar.
Right.
And so, like from that end of things, I would just consider like I would look at I would try to kind of put the LC out of the picture for a second and be like, if I had this amount of money free per month, would I rather put it towards X, Y, and Z for business related things, whether it's signage, whether it's further education, whether it's ads, whether it's whatever, right? Or would I rather have this car, and then these things fundamentally will have less income coming in, right? Because I think that the side of the coin where the LC will make you money, I think is a extremely more vague and a lot harder to argue. And even if it could be argued, I think that the argument of putting that money just into making money would generate more money than buying a car and then banking on that car to make you money from a real estate perspective, right? So I think that like that's the sides of the coin that I would say. And I would caution in that I think that lifetime burdens like that can be challenging, right? Like stuff that like you're unwilling, like there's I'm at this point with money where it's like I pretty much would sell just about anything, right? Just about anything. Like probably like really probably not the Miata. Like I really don't think I'd sell the Miata unless like stuff like really went deeply south.
Right.
But like in terms of like the Porsches or like the sim racing setup that I have, or any of the other parts of the BMW, or like giving up the shop space or whatever, like if I had to pick up and move, like the quantity of things that I would like really want to take with me would be like the stuffed bear I have since I was 4, right? Clothes so I can wear something, a laptop packed into the Miata.
Right.
And I would just pick up and move with that, right? So it's like I think that like releasing yourself of burdens like that can be valuable. And then from that lens, I would caution in introducing one, especially one that is really costly.
Sure.
Because I think that there are like, and on the other side of the coin, like I get that like they aren't going to make them anymore, but like, and like this is at least for me, I can't speak for you, but like for me, like none of my cars that I want have been made for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, and they won't ever be made again, and no one is planning to remake them. Like it's just like the cars I want, like the companies won't even let you remake them. It's like Ferrari won't even let you make a body kit on a fucking F40. They'll just they'll cease and desist.
Yeah.
Right. Like so like the option for like the car, like the car being the one that like I really want with like this specific history or whatever it is, right? Like that car may not exist. It may have burned down, or it may be just another variant of it. Like I really want the 40th one of the Ferrari F40,
right?
The 40th one made, right? So it's like the 40 of the 40, right? But it's like, for all I know, that car could have burned down in 2002,
right?
And so like that side of it, right? Like I'd say that like the option of getting it now, like there will be somebody with an LC, and yes, it will be more expensive, but is is the price at that which that dream car increases, does that dream car increase in price more quickly than your ability to increase the business given an extra 1,300 a month in order to grow it?
Hmm.
Or does the increase in appreciation of the car, is it slower than the potential increase that you could do in business given an extra 1,300 a month?
Right.
And like those two balance out is what I'd really consider from that respect.
Yeah. I have something interesting to share in regard to the Galapagos vacation stuff,
Mm,
because I see people take vacations and buy like shoes, like you like
sure.
shoes, right? Um, and my coworker went on a vacation to Hawaii last week, right?
Mm,
And like Grace is taking me to the Adirondacks. She's like paying for the trip because she really wants to take me up there because it's
sure.
where her family's from, whatever, right? I am not excited about those kind of things, right? Like I'm sure I'll have fun on the trip, but like if I won the lottery tomorrow, I wouldn't be taking trips to Italy or like seeing the world or anything like that. I wouldn't be buying shoes. I'd probably buy more Lego, but like I can easily not buy Lego, right? Like the thing that I would want is an LC.
Mm,
And like I was shithousing with Justin earlier in the week when I was like in my like crazy schizo, like, is this even possible? Like, what if I just do it mode before
mm,
knowing if it was possible? And Justin was like, it's a terrible idea. You can't do it. There's no way. Like you're gonna fuck everything. And I was like, why? And he was like, well, you're not like you aren't gonna have any money left over for savings. And I was like, I have a savings account. He was like, you don't have any money for retirement. And I was like, I'll never retire. I just need like a perpetual 2-year savings account at minimum, right? And if I use it, then I have to build another one. Um, and he was like, well, like, what if down the road you want kids? And I was like, I don't want kids. And if I do want kids down the road, then that's future Mason's problem because
mm,
like it's not important to me right now. And I don't foresee it being important to me in the future. Right. So I'm not interested in kids. I don't have to save for that. Um, and he was like, well, what about like, having money for vacation and like money for doing things? And I was like, I don't vacation. Like, I know that my spending is ridiculous, but I don't splurge on like really fancy things. Like I'm not a fine palette kind of guy. I wear swim trunks and Under Armour shirts everywhere
mm.
I go. Like an LC is the thing, right? And so I guess when I think about it, I think like I want real estate to fund real estate. I'm gonna cut my spending no matter what, like regardless. And I'm gonna treat the next 2 months as if I'm making LC
Yeah.
500 payments to see if I can even do it. And if I can't do it, then it's off the table. If I get a promotion, then that frees up a lot of money. I'm gonna still keep my spending down, and then I have even more money to do that kind of stuff with. Um, the LC reliability, I would say, doesn't make me money, but it solves a problem, right? Like having a reliable car doesn't
Yeah.
make you money, but it decreases the friction for getting there. Right?
Yeah. And like, this point, but
Of
like
course.
there are other ways to solve the reliability issue.
Absolutely, right.
Yeah.
And I've considered those solutions, and ultimately, I mean, I still own the Camaro and don't have another
I
car.
mean,
So.
yeah, I mean, like, Togi,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
It's like, yeah, like there is the gay approach, right? Like there is that option,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then there is the like put it all on black approach,
yeah. And
right?
like, if I had a promotion where I'm making an extra $1,500 a month, I wouldn't even be talking about it. I would have already put it on black because I already have enough that I can cut back my spending and have margin. But like
Sure.
the fact that it's tight margins right now is why I'm deliberating, right?
Mm.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's um I mean, I think you could make it work. It's just a matter of like, I think that the best. I mean, maybe this isn't the best. I think that the most interesting way to approach this, and probably what would yield most, like, if you were to look at your decision as an old man and look back on this decision, I
Mhm,
think the best lens to look at it from is what kind of story would I want to tell.
mhm,
And I've gone back to that a lot, and I went back to that after e-commerce too,
mhm.
of like what kind of story do I want to tell? And it's like I don't really have a great story right now, and so I feel a little bit lost. But I think that that's like I'm allowing myself to be comfortable feeling lost right now because the amount of work that I am doing, I am happy with.
Right.
And so I'm allowing myself to feel lost right now. But I would say that like looking at the picture now, is the story I want to tell with an LC now or with an LC later, and what does the story look like for each of those trajectories? Or what could the story look like for each trajectories? And then, like, on a logistical note, I would say that you gotta look at the LC for the logistical side of things, like maintenance and whatever, but like also definitely do double check your insurance because you'd want full coverage on this car. Because if something were to happen, like genuine full coverage, not like liability or something like that, like actual full coverage and uninsured driver coverage, where it's like if Billy Bob hits you with a Toyota Corolla from '99 and he doesn't have any insurance, you aren't paying for that because that is a real possibility if you don't have uninsured driver's coverage.
I have uninsured on all my coverage right now.
Right, but
so that should be
also
baked in.
ensuring that full coverage, even if it's deemed your fault at the scene of the accident, you could be covered for that, right? Like that was a saver for me on the BMW because even though it was partial at the end of the day, it was not, I didn't have to pay it out of pocket, right? And so that was a big help for me in that respect. But that's what I would double check just logistically.
Yeah, I would double check everything. I would double check that. I would double check my annual expenses and like, average it out over the course of the months. And it's still possible that like I finish the math and I can't afford it right now.
Sure.
That doesn't change my approach of saving money over the next couple months and cutting back my spending. Because if I can't afford it right now, then that means when I do get my $1,500 a month promotion eventually, whenever, then that means that I will be able to afford it then. But I need to still like improve my spending to make that still like a possibility, right? So yeah, and ultimately, I think the story that I definitely don't want to tell is I stuck it out. I tried to scale real estate into replacing Northrop Grumman, and I stuck it out with the Camaro, and it was like a huge pain in my ass for 3 years because I was unwilling to make a decision to either get a Camry or get an LC. And if I have to choose between the two routes where I say I started to scale real estate, I needed to be able to drive across the county like every day on my own, and I bought a Camry to do it versus I did it in an LC. I think I'd rather tell the LC, but
it's up
again,
it's your
it depends
story.
on the spending.
I will say again that I think the Camaro is solvable by $5,000 and passing it to someone else.
It's never been like reliable enough over a large scale.
Being really honest, I don't think that collectively you and I have done enough on that car in one sitting in order to solve that, like actually solve that car.
The reliability?
Like we've done like large bits, like suspension bit,
transmission,
right? And like that, or you did the transmission and like that, or like the engine seals. What else did we do? Oil pan gasket, like a bunch of shit. We did that whole thing. Like all of that work is like solid. Like it doesn't leak oil onto the ground anymore, right? Like that stuff. But like in terms of like interior, like largely that's never been tackled. I mean, the loose seat issue, I bet the bolts are loose on the body.
Yeah.
Right. Like that stuff. Like those are solvable items in their block, right? I'm not saying that there will never be problems again because there is always stuff that comes up on an older car, right? But I think that like those issues are solvable to a degree of, at least from my eyes, to a degree of reliability that would warrant the money saved, even given the month-to-month maintenance expenses on the Camaro, right? Like it could get to a point where 95% of the time it's right enough to give you AC and to make you comfortable, right? For probably $1,100 cheaper a month.
Yeah, I think on average that's fair.
So I think that's a fair assessment. So I would look at it from that lens, but like, the story you want to tell is the story you want to tell. Like that's totally up to you. I would just like the burdens do get frustrating. Like at least for me, like I'm at the point where it's like, how do I get rid of this $300 a month storage unit? Because I fucking hate paying for it.
I agree with you.
And that's $300.
I agree with you. The storage unit that I have is annoying. But also, if I didn't have the storage unit, where do I put that shit?
Right. So now I'm at the point of like, why do I have this shit? Like,
got it.
Right. So then I'm like, okay, like, can I get rid of these chassis?
Right.
Because if I get rid of the chassis, then I can definitely put everything in the garage.
Right.
For sure. And then I can get rid of it. Right. So I'm at the point right now where it's like, I want to take the panel, or either I sell the cars with the titles, because I have the title. Ironically, the cars have titles, which is like fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But like I have titles for the cars, and it's like, okay, what do I do with these cars?
Right.
Do I sell them with the titles or whatever?
Mhm.
Like where do I go with it? So like there's consideration there because I don't want to pay for $300 a month on the storage unit.
Sure.
And like the first option is to get the green car over to the shop, and then the orange car will probably go in the garage space because
Mhm.
once those two swap, the orange car will need a lot more space for it to be worked on because I need to do a lot more. And so the green car will live in the garage. So I
Right.
can't pull chassis from the storage unit and put them in the garage because they can't live there.
Right.
And so then it's like, okay, well, then I could park one outside on blocks with a tarp on it. I know how much Satellite Beach loves that because I've gotten
could
like
set up
a
the tent.
dozen different warnings,
You
right?
get a warning for the tent
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that stuff, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, but it's like, how do I get rid of this shit? And I
Right.
don't want to friggin' like, I'm not gonna park cars outside at Mike's place. Like he's
Right.
like, you're not supposed
doesn't
to
want
do
that.
that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want that. Like I have a good relationship with Mike. I don't intend to do that. And also it would be shitty on the cars for them to sit outside like that.
For sure.
And so like that's not an option I'm willing to take. And so like, but like that's that end of things. It's like it is like the burdens, at least in my mind, like those financial burdens add up quickly in
Mhm.
my brain, and it becomes painful.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's the only caution I would throw into the wind.
An interesting point on that. I pay rent because I have to. I pay groceries because I have to. I pay the storage unit because I have to. None of those really irk me. None of those really bother me. Like none of those make me think like, oh, I should move into a cheaper apartment. Like I'm happy with how much those things cost. The power bill I struggle with a little bit because Grace leaves the light in the laundry room on to remind her that there's laundry in there. It doesn't work. She doesn't know. Like there's the light on or off, like she's just gonna forget there's laundry in there. So like I turn it off every once in a while, right? I know that the electric bill can be like 30 cents a month cheaper if we just turn that light off, right?
Yeah.
That's the only bill that I really am bothered by. I pay $580.53 every month for the ES. And if I crashed it tomorrow and got a full insurance payout and went to buy another one and the monthly payment were $800, I would pay it happily. Like it is surprising to me, but I love that car so much. I happily pay almost $600 a month for it. Like happily. And I would do it again, like even more, right? And I know that an LC is like over double. It's like over twice as much per month. So like very different feeling expense. I'm sure it's a lot more of my income. It's like 20% of my income. But like the biggest one of the biggest payments that I have every month, I'm like genuinely happy to pay because I love that sedan so much. And so like that feeling does like surprise me for the ES. And it makes me wonder if I would really be super stressed out with the LC. Though I think what would be most stressful is if I lost my job and didn't like had zero income, because then my minimum becomes like 4,400 a month to like 5,600 a month, and like that's a way big gap to cover with unemployment. I would have to save more to have to have a larger 6-month emergency fund to cover the cost of my car. Anyways, I digress.
I get both sides of the coin.
Yeah. I'm still on the edge of the coin, right? Like I haven't picked one side or the other. I'm deliberating. But I am making an effort to cut back on spending, A, because it's good for me, and B, because I will not actually go make this expense if I haven't proven that I can do it. Like I'm not going to take a risk on that.
Right.
So I'm still in the middle, but it's something that I'm considering. It's something that makes me giddy to think about.
Yeah, no, it's
also
cool.
consider if I get an LC 500, you get to drive an LC 500. So
yeah, it's cool, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
I mean, but I can't look at it through that lens.
No, I know.
Because I want the best for you.
No, I know. I understand. I'm trying to look out for you.
Yeah, I mean, LC 500 is sick. I mean, it's like, yeah, like I have a great time rolling around in that car, right? But like the point being is like I want the best for you because I like the financial situation I got myself into fucking actually still sucks.
Yeah.
Like there is still a burden associated with it because of the because in the process of getting the shop space together, like that obviously puts a damper on the quality of life because there's money going out there. So like I'm still sitting at a point where it's like I'm not having money come in, but it is fundamentally because over the last 2 months I've spent $4,000, which could have just been saved, or $3,000 or whatever it was, right? Like there is significant money that's been introduced just because of the initial expenses of this place.
Right. And that's one-time expenses that won't be recurring. But like, an LC is every month for 8 years.
Yeah.
And 8 years is a long time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
And I do
that's
recognize
just what I would recognize. But
yeah,
overall, that's all I got.
that's all I got. That was my that was my lessons learned.
You got a way to dial us in?
I do. I have 2 actually.
Cool.
The first one's a fun one.
Oh, cool.
The first one is a quote from Bert Kreischer.
From Togi?
No, close. From Bert Kreischer.
Objectively, how will you? But factually, I could.
That's. Yeah. I'm trying to not take that approach,
Yeah.
but it does nag at me in the back of my mind.
I know, yeah.
I read a quote when I was looking for this quote, which I found in college. I think it was from a guy like in a wheelchair who was like, if you're thinking about like running a marathon, like if you're thinking about like running the New York City Marathon, like do it. If you don't have enough motivation to do it like for yourself, do it for those who can't. Because I can't run the New York City Marathon anymore. He must have been like a marathon runner who got his legs amputated. And so then I think to myself, and I'm like, dude, Justin can't afford an LC 500 because he has student loans and a car payment on his Mustang, which is way too high. He paid way too much for that car. Grace has crazy student loans and doesn't make any money. Like there are other people who are my age in similar positions who can't afford this.
Mm-hmm.
And who am I to just hoard my money when I could be doing it for those who can't, right? Like that's my Togi brain, right? Recognizes Togi brain. This is the quote from Bert Kreischer. Start fires you can't put out, which is equivalent to getting an LC 500. Anyways, here's the actual payment, or the actual quote. And it's a quote because I'm cutting back on my spending, and it has not been as hard as I thought it would be. Like I've been doing it all week, and I haven't been out to eat once. I haven't gotten a single energy drink. Like for weeks, I was like, oh, I was up really late, so I had an energy drink, and like now I had an energy drink with less caffeine so that I like am not dependent on caffeine anymore. I just stopped on Tuesday when like there was a whiff of this being possible. And it's because of this quote. Trade what you want now for what you want most. And so every time I pick up anything, I go, I'd rather have an LC, and I put it down. That's it. That's all
I dig it. Well, thank you for tuning in to episode 113. It's crazy. It's been a lot of episodes.
What episode do you think I get an LC 500 on? Because that episode I will film with the car, and I'm going to edit it into the video. Or I'll make you edit it into the video.
You're going to edit it into the video.
I'll edit that.
You're good at ads now. Lose it. Anyways, jokes aside.
Episode 115.
115. Yeah, 114.
Well, so another factor
113.5. It's going to be halfway through this week.
Another factor is that the spec I want is not on the market right now. Like the progression here is like prove I can save the money and prove that I can actually make the payment.
Yeah, which is 8 episodes at minimum.
8 episodes at minimum. It's 2 months at minimum through the end of August. Then it's get a loan, approved for a loan, and like...
Which is 1 episode, probably.
Sure, maybe more. It depends, right? Like, my credit's in a good spot, like I said earlier, but like, if they approve me for a 10% interest rate, then it's not happening. Like, it's too much money, right? So like, I have to get approved for a loan, and then I have to find the car. And that could take a week, or a year, or a month, or 2 years. Like, I will not concede on certain aspects of the car, and so like it might take a while for the right car to get on the market. And for that duration of time, if I'm acting like I'm making LC 500 payments and I'm putting that money aside, cool. Maybe it drives the monthly payment down, and then it's way more feasible. But like, there's a chance that I'm fully prepared to buy the car, and I'm checking Auto Trader every morning on the toilet, and it just doesn't pop up until 2 years from now.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, that's it. I'm done.
If I had to make a guess, I would guess episode 139 because I think that would be ironic.
Oh, fuck, now I gotta make it happen.
Given that a little stipulation, thank you all for tuning in. Be safe out there, drive safe if the weather is bad out there, and we will see you next time.